Are you searching for a deeper understanding of your faith?
Inspiring Philosophy is your go-to resource for exploring the rich tapestry of Christian thought.
From biblical archaeology to philosophy of mind, we dive into the topics that matter.
Our content bridges faith and understanding, offering insights into God's existence and the reliability of the New Testament.
Join a community where faith meets reason and discover the answers you've been seeking.
Inspiring Philosophy, where faith meets understanding.
I'm sorry, Master, but I must go all out. Just this once. I don't like you, Muhammad. Dawa boys, you've left me no choice. Bible's been corrupted, that should go to line. But you claim the same book, prophesize your sign, twisting every scripture, faking all the quotes, hiding all the facts, trying to keep your boat afloat. Without lies, Islam dies. Perfect preservation, yeah, that myth got wrecked. Worldly Quran don't even match the text. Used to flex science, now you backing away, cause camel embryo facts don't hit the same today. Got the Islamic dilemma, you can't solve that. Every answer you give makes the problem snap back. Say the Bible's corrupt, but your own book cries. Bibles are Allah's words, they can't be revised. If Allah's words can't change, then your claims are fraud. You just argued yourself against the word of your God. Injil's secret book, that's your mystery prize, but the Quran said Christians should judge by it. Lies, then your crew pull muted like it's just a game. Ruined the life and trashed a man's name. All that dawah talk, but when truth appears, you vanish from the chat like it hurt your ears. Without lies, Islam dies. Can't hide truth, can't spin those lies. Without lies, Islam dies. Dawah cries when the facts arrive. Without lies, Islam dies. Can't hide truth, can't spin those lies. Without lies, Islam dies. Dawah cries when the facts arrive. We follow Jesus better, sure in your dream. While cutting out his claims like you're cropping the meme. Crown off his head, toss his cross in the bin. The smile for the camera like you're still his kin. Jesus was a Muslim, cute little twist. Redefine the word so the facts don't exist. If labels could change what the records prove, if Pharaoh was a Yahweh fan, then Judas stayed true. Muhammad in the Song of Solomon, boy, you made your prophet a fruit. Snuggled up with Solomon and came the man of Ozu. Without lies, Islam dies. Can't hide truth, can't spin those lies. Without lies, Islam dies. Dawah cries when the facts arrive. You preach perfect text, but the proof ain't there. Half wash, even your readers don't care. Call the Bible corrupt, but still quote it loud. Trying to find Muhammad just to please your crowd. Song of Solomon, yeah, that's a flesh effect. You just wrote your prophet in the Solomon's bed. Then the man of Al-Zu came riding through all night long. And you say that's true. Jesus was a Muslim, the word plays dead. By that logic, Pharaoh bowed his head. You twist, you spin, but you can't disguise that every dawah claim is built on lies. Without lies, without lies, without lies, without
I testify that when we hit live, AP was not here. And then when the countdown ended, AP was here.
It is a miracle. This is
a miracle.
Hey, the music was so terrible, I had to mute it.
Wow. You can be wrong. You can be wrong. It's okay.
Because I was comparing it to my own music and most importantly to Malik's music, and I thought this sucks. Malik
Wow.
much, so.
Here I was about to ask you if you wanted to collaborate on a diss track together, AP, but now I don't want to.
No, him and Malik are collab. Didn't you? They're collabing. Did you hear?
I think you guys could make some bangers, not in a Zoot sense, but some total bangers. No, that's why I was laughing when it started, because I was like, hey, this is a jam, man. And then it reminded me of that other jam that's going around that's smashing hoes, smashing bros, like the men of all Zoot. We're running trains even in men's butts. Just like people are messed up, man. But it's all
is that a new song that's going on?
It's all out there, yeah. There's a jam,
Yeah.
man.
Oh boy.
Hold up. Let me see if I can. I actually have it. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know how much I want to play of it because it's.
Play.
Sounds like we're gonna get demonetized.
I thought this was a Christian channel. Like, what is this?
Okay, so I'm not saying everything in this song is good. Okay, but it's.
No, it's bad. But to be clear, he just took what Malik said the Dawa guys are doing, and then just made a song about the sort of Dawa life.
Gosh.
Yeah, hold up. I did that wrong. Yep, there it is.
Dawa exposed. Malik up there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Here I can pull it up this way. This is the way to do it. Here we go.
Dawa lies from Malik. Smashing hoes, smashing bros, like the night of Al Zut. They're running trains, even in men's butts. Never asked the watcher about his nights in Colombia. Video calling little birdies, licking upon their genitalia.
All right, that's the point what I mean.
My lord, dude.
Guys, everything that was said right there is straight out of what Malik leaked about the Dawa bros.
It's got a good beat, but man, it's not like inaccurate, but still it's like, do I want to listen to that? Not really. No.
Yeah, the Dawa life is so screwed up you can't even like play a song about the stuff these guys are into.
You know what's funny? I just checked Malik's TikTok, and he only has one video posted up and pinned right now, and that is his interaction with us from Debatecon.
Based.
And the funny thing is, in that video that he posted, you are basically destroying him, and I'm calling him gay. And that's what he has up there. So I don't know. He's
hey guys, they're talking about me. I'm important.
I'm literally telling him, "Hey, you're gay. I know, and I'm not interested. Thank you. Bye." That's what he has up there.
Man.
Very powerful. Very powerful. Yes. So we were just at Debatecon over the weekend. That was wild. There were people apparently. So there were people there to protect us, and that was unexpected. So so there were actual people in the crowd disguised as fans, because we don't have any of those for real. So they were disguised as fans, loaded, ready to take someone down if they needed to. And they even gave myself, David Wood, and AP a burner gun. It was a non-lethal gun that would shoot.
You mean a burner?
Yeah. What is it?
Yeah.
It's a burner.
Burner. Yeah.
A nickname for guns used to be burners. So you are correct. It is technically a burner, but the company is Burna. And you guys made me tell them, like, I don't want that thing. What the heck? And they're like, no, you have to have it. You must have it with you.
The police said so. There's nothing we can do about it. So we had it. It's a non-lethal thing. It was just knock somebody out if we had to fire it. Of course, nothing happened. But yeah, that's thanks to all the nice doxing and death threats. We had to have that. Of course, nothing happened because people doing it are absolute pathetic cowards and would never actually come and do anything. They're just trying to scare us.
You know what would be awesome though? Like, if the debater is just sitting there with a burner gun, non-lethal burner gun, and like during the Q&A from the audience, it's like, if you ask a stupid question, if you ask one stupid question,
I like that
I'll burn at you.
You get people up there and it's like, you said this, and I want to quote this scholar, and then I'm going to read from his book over here, and then I'm going to say, and just ask your question, dude. Just ask your question.
That's what you get. Next question.
I didn't think for a second that anything messed up, anything like really bad was actually going to happen. But it's also kind of nice to know that once somebody actually tries something serious, they're going to be taken down in seconds. There. So.
Yeah, it was funny. There was I ended up chatting with some of the Muslims after my debate, and then we were like chatting for hours, and a couple of them were like super cool. They're like into philosophy, and they watch Christian apologists too,
including Malik's best friend. Apparently, you sat down with him and had a very good time with Malik's best friend.
No, he was okay. No, but he's not the one I was talking about. Yeah, there were a couple guys I was just talking. And then another couple Christians started, and we were having like cool conversations and stuff. And but it was funny because one of them, who he's like a younger guy, he's like, while I was talking to Malik, he was apparently trying. I didn't catch it. He was apparently trying to get my attention. Because he wanted to get my approval if he could come over and like pretend to like choke me out or something like this. Allahu Akbar me or something like that. And I was like, oh, that would have been hilarious, man. As I'm sitting there running my mouth in a leak and a guy jumps on my back and stuff. But he would have had to clear that with everyone there because, as IP was pointing out, there were a bunch of people there who showed up like strapped.
Mm-hmm. They were waiting for a fight. But yeah, so
you know what would have been funny if he actually gets your approval and you're like, yeah, man, this guy's cool. Let him do it. It's all just an act. And then he comes up and chokes him and stabs him in the neck.
That'd be horrible.
Or I say, yeah, man, go ahead and jump on me, and he jumps on, and then he gets shot or something like that. It's like now that I think about it, there are a lot of things that could have gone terribly wrong there. So I think it would have been hilarious, but
probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Your mic keeps getting staticky, AP.
Yeah, your mic.
Is that your beard brushing against it?
What's wrong with you?
Brush your beard on your mic. See if that's it.
No, it's not it. It's not it. No, definitely not it.
How does someone have such tricked out equipment and is totally incompetent in everything? I always think I'm incompetent.
Are you testing that now too, Mike?
I am. Did you hear anything? You hear anything?
No, nothing.
Nothing. No, that doesn't work. No.
It's only a couple times, like right when you start speaking, and then it goes staticky for a couple seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. So you two debated Jake, Muslim metaphysician. I debated someone named Hassan Shibli, and yeah, boy, I was not impressed really by anyone there. But after all that, we were just sort of hanging out in the lobby, talking with Jake, talking with Muslims. I think it was pretty cool. I expected them to be a little bit more upset, but no, they were just hanging out. We even got a picture with we got the Dizzle here got a great picture with Jake, which has apparently broke the internet and has pissed off Muslims everywhere for you guys taking that photo because. See, they were not. Wait,
are people mad at Jake because?
Yes, they're mad at Jake for. And what's funny is he was
Jake not even aware that a picture was being taken here?
He was not aware.
He was not. He was not. No, guys.
Poor Jake, dude.
In the name of complete forthrightness, Jake was talking to somebody, and then to get closer, he kind of circled around me, was talking to someone, and then I looked at Eric and I go. Just didn't look like, and he got the picture. So no, guys, this was not Jake posing for a picture with me or something like that. He was talking to someone. I just noticed he was in the same frame, so I told someone to grab a picture because it is funny that we're both wearing like pajamas.
But yeah, we were chilling with him for a good hour or so. We were just talking about different rap music. Everyone was just kind of chilling, talking about rap.
Jake was actually very, very nice and very friendly to us.
Yeah.
Hey, now you got quiet, AP. What the heck?
Dude, what's your problem with me, man?
I'm just saying, you're super quiet.
Do you guys need to duke it out?
Wait, how about now?
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. So Jake was actually very friendly with us. He was very, very good. He was very, very, very awesome with us. He was not at all hostile with us the way he usually is. We had very friendly interactions with Jake. In fact, I also would like Daniel Hikikachu to know that that Jake was exceptionally friendly to us. Not the way to him, he's not friendly, but to us, he was very.
No. I mean, like before this photo was taken, we were just sort of sitting around that table there, and people were talking about like their favorite rap songs, their old rap careers. We were talking with Jake, speaking Muslim, and some other people, and just making casual conversation. Everyone was chill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great.
And I have to say, like seriously. Because you've got the Dawa guys flipping out on him and so on. You should be more hostile, guys. If I hadn't been getting along with some of the Muslims there, right? If I hadn't been getting along with some of the Muslims there, one, I would have had that thing on way earlier, right? So I was originally like gonna wear it to my debate, but I was like getting my opening statement and stuff ready, like right up until it was like, okay, I got 2 minutes left, and like you guys came into the room like, hey, you gotta have this burner, I don't care about the stupid burner, and you're like, hey, let's just chat and stuff. I'm like, dude, it's 20 minutes. I just finished my opening statement. I have like 15 minutes to think about anything I want to get ready for, rebuttals or anything else, because everyone, because Jake was being pressured to not debate, and his response was, well, guys, don't be upset because I'm going to have him arrested at the debate. I was thinking the entire time, he's going to do something to derail the debate. He's not actually going to debate. So right up until like James at the last second, like, no, he says he's going to debate. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I better be ready to debate him. But anyway, so it was like, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm debating in 4 or 5 minutes, so I got to bolt. So I didn't even have time to get geared up and stuff.
He
But
did.
then I was going to put it on for one of the other debates. But I ended up having a discussion with Muslims, and I was like, okay, well, some of these guys are being real cool right now, so I don't want to just randomly tick them off. And then when Malik started running his mouth, I was like, all right, I got a trick for. So I wasn't going to wear that thing the entire time. After we're chatting with Muslims and stuff, I wasn't going to wear that thing the entire time. Then Malik started running his mouth, and I'm like, all right, I got a Quran up in my room, and I went up there and I put that on. I came down with the Quran. If I had not been getting along with the Muslims there, I would have shredded that Quran live on TikTok. And so it's seriously weird to me that, like, when the guys are like total jerks and nothing but hostile and nothing but insults, it's like I'll shred every book in the world because you guys are acting like evil scumbags and threatening people, going after people's wives, doxing. That's what makes us really, really, really not care even slightly about your book and wanting to show you what we really think about it. When we're getting along with people, and keep in mind, when I say getting along, it doesn't mean you have to like me. I understand what I do. I understand what I say about your prophet. You don't have to like me and stuff like that. But if you're at least on the level of just like communication without threats, without doxing, without any of that stuff, I have no desire to like destroy your book in front of you. And what's amazing is that's the only thing that kept me from like just shredding this book all day long. Mm-hmm. And they'll get mad at the Muslims who weren't just completely hostile towards us. Isn't that weird? Right. What Jake and what's that other guy's name? Speaking Muslim?
Muslim, yeah. Speaking Muslim. And
people are mad that they were actually like having a conversation with us. What were they doing? They were trying to tell me, look, man, stop. What do we need to do? What do we need to do to get you to stop ripping the Quran and doing all this? So what can we do? Let's negotiate. Let's figure out a plan forward and stuff. And it's like that makes them the bad guys in the Dawah world. That trying to stop this huge campaign of Quran desecration and so on. Just weird.
I got a video of that. So what happened is they called Malik to try to like negotiate a ceasefire. And Malik starts running his mouth. So he's like, you won't rip up a Quran? You won't rip a Quran? So David gets in the elevator and he's up there. And I'm like, why is he taking so long to just grab a Quran? He comes down dressed in his onesie. And here I was like, I just pulled my phone out. I had to start filming.
When you do that, I'll take those pajamas and his family. Yeah. So
now Malik is on the phone here yelling. So that's what you're hearing. He's Malik. And Jake here is in the middle trying to negotiate a ceasefire, trying to get David to stop.
See, I got a Quran in my hand right there.
Got it. Yeah.
Go after him. But what does this have to do with it? That is to get but it's getting that other Muslims. Exactly. And y'all put the pressure to stop him. Because that's what I'm trying to do right here. I'm trying to squash the whole thing. I told you I respect you.
Well, let me say something here. Jake says I'm trying to squash the whole thing. That's why I'm trying to do a ceasefire. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't even get it at that point when I was there. It's like, why is he trying to have a ceasefire here? If you want to solve this problem, like after the debate, I actually went up to Jake. Before the debate, when I went to Jake, I said, "Hey, are we gonna shake hands?" He's like, "Nah, man." Anyway, after the debate, I said to him, hey, despite our hostilities and despite your refusal to interact with me properly, I actually rather enjoyed this debate and I hope for the best, I said. And he actually responded nicely. He said, well, thank you. And he said, but you guys got to stop desecrating the Quran. And I said to him, well, you have to tell your guys to stop threatening us. He thinks he can just, squash the beef between David and Malik and put an end to the Quran desecration stuff. I'm sorry, that's not enough. He doesn't seem to get it. It started with what? With Muhammad Hijab going after everyone's families, everyone's wives, threatening people. Then it was Ali Dawah making that public video saying that I and others like me deserve to be executed. It was them celebrating threats and harm and actual deaths and things like that. And Jake, the Muslim metaphysician here, Jake Brancatelli, he didn't come out and speak out against what Muhammad Hijab did. He didn't speak out against what Ali Dawah said. On the contrary, he actually does believe himself that just like Ali Dawah, that people who leave Islam, like myself and others, deserve to be executed. Under these circumstances, why would I consider it? Why would I have any respect for the Quran? Why would I refuse to desecrate it? If he was different and if he said, guys, look, I have interacted with these guys and I actually think we should not wish for their deaths. I actually think we should not threaten them. I actually think we should tone down and maybe even reject and think through the whole death for apostasy and death for blasphemy thing. Maybe I would make some considerations toward changing our approach to the Quran. But under these circumstances, just solving a little beef between the hardcore gangster rapper Malik and the YouTuber David Wood simply won't solve it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
Just and again, think of the situation. So I roll down there in a onesie. It's actually for anyone who doesn't know, because you got Muslims going, no, that's not even the Quran. Yeah, it's an Islamic dilemma onesie. It has down the left side of it, it has the Quran verses in Arabic that affirm the Bible, and on the right side, it has Bible verses that contradict the Quran. It's an Islamic dilemma onesie. That's L. L's in the chat, and L's the one who had this made for me. And for everyone who's asking where you get that, guys, you'll have to talk to L. That's L-E-L-L-E-I-S-O. Elohim is her channel. You can find her on X and ask her how you can get one. But anyway, I rolled in there with a Quran. As I'm walking up, I'm thinking, if any one of these guys here like, hey, don't put that down or else, or something like that, it would have been on, but they weren't. The speaking Muslim there, Jake's trying to calm things down. They're all trying to get Malik to shut up. And the guy there's like, look, let me buy the Quran. Let me buy the Quran. Let me buy the Quran. But no one's like, hey, if you do that, then I'll do this. Or, hey, how dare you? I'll say this about your wife. No one was doing any of that. So I was like, you know what? Here, take the Quran, man. So I gave him the Quran. So he knew that Quran was safe. But it's just amazing to me that it's just built into a bunch of people's minds. You have to behave in the worst, most violent way possible. Like, to do what? That's what's causing the things that you guys hate. And it's just weird. So anyway, Jake and the speaking Muslim, for everyone who is hating on him, pretty much the entire time, they're trying to convince me to stop what I'm doing with the Quran. And I was doing my best to make it clear to them, no. When you guys are, to be fair, it's not them, but when your guys are doxing and threatening and all that, there's no scenario where I'm backing down. So you deal with that problem, then we can talk. But there's no scenario where I'm backing down from this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Hey, from now on, I want to change L's name officially to W. How about that? It's no longer L.
Yeah, L. You can't be called L because all you do is win.
That's right. That's true.
That's what I'm trying to do right here. I'm trying to squash the whole thing.
To their credit, they're trying to negotiate a ceasefire. That guy has zero hikmah. Look, his buddy's laughing. Oh, hey, IP, you may have just gotten speaking Muslim in trouble because he's laughing when I say this guy has zero hikmah. To be fair, I guarantee he agrees that Malik, what is this? I guarantee you he'd agree. Malik has no hikmah, man.
Mm-hmm. Look at the guy in the back laughing too. Yeah.
Low hikmah dudes, man. Low hikmah, no rap skills.
Hey, because here's the thing. Get that. No, but I'm saying, let me buy it off. Yeah. Let me get it. I want it.
So then David just gave him the Quran because
he wants to strip you naked. What is this?
It's true. Yes. Yeah. So it was very clear that they were not trying to be hostile. They were trying to just sort of like, all right, can we figure something out? Can we get this all to stop? And it's like, yeah, stop the doxing. David and AP will stop ripping up the Quran. Pretty simple. Stop that. Stop going after people's families, wives. But Malik is still on a rampage.
I had some very interesting interactions with that guy who wanted to buy your Quran, who is the speaking Muslim. I have no idea what's his name. I have no idea what his name is, but except that he's the speaking Muslim. But so they were hanging out. Jake and him were hanging out there in the lobby the entire day and the entire night. They were talking, filming, and doing all kinds of things. And the speaking Muslim was kind of had this attitude toward me the whole time. I was like, hey, man, come here. How about come here? I can teach you about Islam, and I can tell you why you should become Muslim. Come on, why don't you become Muslim? And I was like, I don't want to become Muslim, man. Like, leave me alone. So eventually he said, hey, how about you and I have a debate right here? I said, no, have a debate. We can have a debate if you contact James and arrange a debate. He said, okay, I will do that. What topic? I said, was Muhammad a pedophile? And he said, is David Wood going to join? I said, probably. So I'm not sure. I'm waiting on updates on that. But later on, he kept kind of bugging me and saying dumb stuff like, "Hey, Jake baked you. Hey, you got grilled, and David Wood, he got barbecued, he got charred, and all that." And I don't know. I went up to him. It was late in the night. I was already tired, and I said to him, "Hey, when you are in a room full of Christians and Muslims, and you speak like this, how do you think the other side feels? When you say, 'Hey, we destroyed you, we baked you, you got baked,' how do you think the Christian or the non-Muslim side feels? Do you think they agree with you?" He was like, "Yeah, I think they agree with me." And I said, "Well, then you're retarded. So good night." And but the next day, he actually came up to me, and he was a little bit friendlier. But you know what he then said to me? He said, "Hey, AP, actually, you know what? All jokes aside, one of my closest friends actually left Islam because of you. So." So you're my greatest op. For all the boomers who don't know what that means, it means like you're my greatest opponent or enemy or something like that. So apparently he has a thing against me because a very close friend of his left Islam after watching my videos and asking him repeatedly to help him with those doubts, and he couldn't help him enough. So this is why he has a grudge against me, and that was actually a very, very nice admission from his side. So these guys who come to us and who engage with us in sometimes hostile, sometimes playful, sometimes nagging, sometimes friendly, opposing ways, clearly do feel the impact of the stuff that we do, which is why they engage with us, and that's what we should be doing. We should continue doing this stuff. Alhamdulillah.
Well, the pictures, though, have really upset Muslims, though. So I saw this on X. This is a Muslim complaining about David walking around the onesie, but he's not just mad at David. He's mad at Jake and Daniel. An arrogant idiot shows up to so-called debate wearing pajamas covered with Quranic verses, openly mocking the book of Allah, sitting on it, insulting it. Did you sit on the Quran?
I mean, it's got the Quran on the butt, and I was sitting on it, so yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Yet engaging with people like this is now labeled dawah. These so-called da'is today hold these nonsensical public debates in parks, masjids, churches, or wherever else they can set up their cameras, debating the same topics over and over again, more often than not using flawed methods. That's true, they are using flawed methods. This is the smartest thing he said here. Not for sincere seekers of truth, but for audiences looking for entertainment and to cheer for their side, like hooligans cheering on a sports team. This is true, yes. Unfortunately, much of the blame lies with the da'is themselves, who continue to engage in these spectacles and give it a platform. The more these people are engaged, the more legitimized they feel, or as Candace Owen said, legitimatized. Every interaction feeds them, but it continues because there are clicks, views, money, and online status attached to it for both sides. So this is yeah, you really pissed. I saw people on TikTok complaining about this as well, that you guys were walking around, or that David was walking around in pajamas, taking photos, hanging out. You're complaining the Muslims should never even been there. They should never have come to this.
And think about this. Why was I walking around in an Islamic dilemma onesie? This is a response to, we're going to kill you if you show up in Houston. That's a response to that. Oh, okay, you're going to kill me? All right, I'm gonna wear a Quran onesie, and therefore, if you want to shoot me, you're gonna have to shoot your book. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Let's see what you do. Let's see what you do. And then I'm the bad. It's not the person who sends out the threats that they flip out about. It's the guy who responds to it by not backing down. You're the bad guy if you respond by not backing down. And even then, I wasn't going to end up wearing it because I was getting along with a couple guys, but they were apparently supposed to be even more hostile, in which case I would have definitely worn it the entire time and been shredding a Quran in front of them if they had acted like Malik acts. And then I only ended up putting the thing on because Malik was running his mouth.
Yeah. So like what happened, guys, is like David walked out there, and then Jake and the Muslims were like, "Hey, let's talk. Let's get this figured out." And then they called Malik, thinking that was somehow going to like work. And then Malik, of course, doesn't. He runs his mouth and makes things worse. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I have to point out. So Malik said, if you come out to Debatecon to Houston, you're going to get killed. David said, haha, I'm going to put on a Quran costume, so nothing's going to happen to me. What happened as a result? David is still alive. Nothing happened to him. So therefore, the Quran costume actually worked.
Oh yeah, and how many hours? How many hours? Because there were areas where there's all kinds of security and stuff like that. And how many hours was I just sitting out in that hotel lobby right beside the door where anyone could walk in and massacre me? Hour after hour after hour, I was sitting there.
Yep.
In a Quran onesie.
Was very rude. Very rude.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was funny because I kept seeing people who had no idea what was going on, but they'd like the people at the front desk. I look over and I see them pointing at me and giggling and stuff like that. Anyway, apparently that's a funny outfit to most people.
Hi, IP. I'm planning on making a testimony video for another channel based. Afterwards, I'm going to make a 10-hour video on evidence for the Bible. You should, man. Do it. Absolutely do it.
We currently debate 15.
Make it 15. I'm currently debating with my atheist friend about God. He claims that the Trinity could have been inspired by goddesses of moon, Artemis, Selene, and Hecate. Yeah, that's utter nonsense. No scholar would take that seriously. Those are different.
We have a video coming out on the actual origins of the Trinity coming out too that I wrote a script for. So,
and yeah,
show them that when it comes out.
Yeah, you can see videos we have on the channel. Like we have a bunch of videos on the Trinity. There's just no evidence that it came from paganism. It came from the Old Testament to start, and then the New Testament as well. So
why are you stuttering then?
Why are you stuttering? Whoa, David, how are you still here? I've never known Malik's to be liar, just like his prophet. This is true. Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, if he keeps threatening people and then never follows through, people are going to start not taking him seriously.
Like now.
Ooh.
David Wood got humiliated in the debate. Well, so after the debate, Jake was out doing a TikTok live. Then he posted this clip to his channel. And I'm like, what do you like? Let's just watch this. Like, so this is you coming out. He thinks he's got you. You're admitting. But it's like, this is so weird.
Yeah, but you gotta get something new for me, bro.
Look at
this guy. We got this guy over here. He's about to show up.
We can't put him on. Unfortunately, we can't put David on.
He tried to cover up because I walked on camera.
Put him on.
Yeah, notice he's not in the onesie. Like everyone noticed.
That's how I was dressed before.
Yeah.
That's how I was dressed for debate.
All right. He
loves me on TikTok.
Hey,
David Wood.
Hey, you're a clown.
He Wood admitted he's gonna stop burning the Quran.
He's gonna stop burning the Quran.
No.
Did you admit that?
No.
All right. Well,
no,
number one.
Unless it was at some point I said, "Hey, stop all the doxing and this and this and that," and
well, maybe he's going to.
And then they said, and that will end it. And I go, no, there's going to have to be some more. And I think
maybe he added an if to it. Did he?
No, he didn't. Let's go back.
Let's see.
Maybe afterward.
He Wood admitted he's going to stop burning the Quran.
Stop burning.
Nope. No ifs. Nope.
The Quran.
No.
And he admitted that I was the best Muslim debater on Islamic dilemma. He admitted that.
He admitted it. But yeah.
Look at him. He's thinking about it.
Around.
He knows it's true. He knows
David,
it's true.
apologize to us.
Come on, man.
I want to see.
Hey guys, real quick, I got a
Who's
question
better
for
than
David.
me, D-Wood? Who was better than me?
Okay, Daniel definitely wasn't.
Oh, thank you.
Let him
He
do
said Daniel wasn't.
John Fontaine wasn't either. So yeah.
Okay, see, I got it. You heard it.
That's gonna piss off everyone now. How dare you? How dare you say Jake was better than me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I should have said. So I basically agree with your tier list.
Oh man, look at the look at the comment section though on that short video. The Muslims commenting on it. They're they're very pissed about this. Why
Look in
is
the
he
comments, Mike.
defending an enemy of Islam and joking with him? Jake is more focused on being the best and actually condemning these disgusting individuals. Very sad to see. Dude, Jake doesn't know how to. I mean, this is the funny thing, man. These people like him often do not really know how to read the room when they interact with.
I do.
some audiences.
I know how to read the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is just. It's so easy to just throw a little bit of spark on all these guys, and then they just start fighting. I mean, just look at this. Like, Jake got excited from this little clip. He posted it, and he just gets Muslims to attack him. Like they don't know how to play this. Like
Muslims don't think this is funny. They're actually outraged about it, especially those who, of course, don't come there in person. Those who do. There was a funny incident. As I was leaving on Sunday in the morning, one of Jake's best friends, a very close friend of his, approached me. He was also there all day, but he was rather quiet. He actually approached me. You know what he said to me? It was very strange. I actually do want to sit down and record something about this very quickly tomorrow or so when I have the time. But he came to me, one of Jake's close friends, and he said, "Hey, AP, can I be honest with you?" I said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." He said, he said something along the lines of, "I wish you and David were as bad and as much of a jerk in person as you guys are online, so I could actually hate you." That's what he said to me. So, and then he repeated that again. He said, "I wish you were as bad in person as you are online, so I could hate you." Because what he's trying to say there, for those who don't understand the Islamic mindset and the Muslim mindset, is that he is obligated to hate me. He's obligated to hate David because we are opponents. You know, we are enemies of Islam. We are enemies of Allah. We are explicit disbelievers who have rejected Islam and who also, publicly, speak about it. And as a Muslim, as a devout, proper Muslim, he has the obligation to hate us. But he comes to us and he meets us in person and he sees that we are just regular human beings and he can actually interact with us like a regular human being. So then he thinks, wait a minute, so I could just sit down and have conversations with these guys. I don't actually have to, fight them and kill them or anything. That's very, very upsetting because I actually have to hate these guys. That makes him sad. It also makes him kind of happy that it's not like that, but that he can actually be a proper human with us, but he has to hate us. These are the interactions that we have with these guys. While the online crowd, of course, will see these good interactions and will be very, very upset and very angry about it because they want these influencers to come and humiliate us or even to kill us. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, here, the part of this video really got me was this part here.
Okay, see, I got it. You heard it from D Wood. I was the best one on the Islamic dilemma. Thank you. He's gonna have to rewrite the script a little bit. He knows it. He's gonna go back.
I got a quick question for David.
He said he's got to make some emendations.
But he needs to let Armor speak. Formally apologize. He needs to formally apologize.
He has to look. Hold on, I can't tell you that. He has to modify his Islamic
He said
dilemma now.
modify slightly.
That's still pretty crazy.
Wood was going to give a slight modification.
That's their victory. David Wood admitted he's going to slightly modify the Islamic dilemma. We have won. It's over, guys. We won.
David Wood admitted he has to change a word here.
No, and that was just if you guys are misunderstanding the argument and thinking that it requires a particular interpretation of authority, because it's indisputable that the Quran is affirming the authority. But if you guys are thinking that it requires this view of authority or something like this, which it doesn't. In fact, you don't even need to say authority. I pointed this out in the debate. It was like, hey, if you could just run it with inspiration and preservation.
Right.
That's enough. That's enough for the Islamic dilemma. And then I pointed out you could even run it with just one verse and say, hey, the Quran tells Christians to judge by the gospel. Okay, then you can run it in the Wes Huff style where it's, if I judge by the gospel, Islam is false, or you're telling me not to judge by the gospel, in which case I'm rejecting the Quran. So which one is it? Either way you lose. So, but if he's interpreting this as David's formulation is the only Islamic dilemma, and by authority it has to mean this, then I'll reformulate it. That's part of the reason for having these debates is sometimes there will be like when we started going popular with it, there weren't a lot of responses to the Islamic dilemma. The ones that were there were all stupid. Oh, this is just such a stupid argument. All you have to do is go to Surah 2 verse 79 and refute the Islamic dilemma. It was that. But when we started really pushing the argument hard, not in the Zut sense, but when we started pushing it hard, it was, hey, I don't know. Once they start really responding to it, I don't know if they're going to come up with some awesome responses that I haven't thought of before. If they do, we'll have to, you just reformulate the argument. Sometimes you just need to clarify something. Sometimes you're just like, oh, I said this and this is just not right. That's, friend doesn't know that if you go into philosophy, if you do undergrad, if you do master's, if you go all the way to PhD, all you ever do is put out arguments, and then other people attack your arguments. And then if they really show you that your argument sucks, then you abandon the argument. Sometimes you need to tweak things to make things clearer or something like that. But yeah, if people are misunderstanding something, or if I'm not being clear enough, or they think I'm arguing this when I'm not really, then that would be on me to try to modify and clarify things. So zero problem. By the way, that's every time. That's every time. Anytime a Muslim's responding, you would try to, okay, they're not getting this. Let me take that into account for the next time I'm putting out the argument.
Yeah, you see, David admits his Islamic dilemma is insufficient.
Well, they're treating this like it's a victory, and it's not. Like Avery says this all the time. There's the Islamic dilemma, and there's all these different threads you could go down.
Right.
You just have the basic. So we modify all the time, depending on what thread we're on. Like, oh, he's saying this. Well, let's do this thread of the Islamic dilemma. Oh, now he's saying this. Let's modify what we're saying to go down this thread of the Islamic dilemma. That's not a win. That's just admitting that you were using a different form of you were responding to the Islamic dilemma, and we just tried a different thread on you. Like, that's not a victory that you think it is, man.
He admits that he changes the Islamic dilemma because of us.
Oh, they won.
Yeah, and along those lines, like John Fontaine came out with what I regard as a pretty weird response to it. But if I were debating against someone who follows that reasoning or something like that, I would modify the argument to take his particular criticisms into account. I would present the argument a little differently.
Exactly.
That's just doing good philosophy. Like the mark of a good argument in philosophy is literally just if you can adopt other systems of thought, or like metaphysical systems, for instance, and still run to the conclusion of the argument. You're doing the exact same thing with the Islamic dilemma.
No, Than, that means he's admitted defeat. He slightly modified it. Doesn't work anymore.
Than admits he has to think about metaphysics because of us.
Oh, no, the metaphysics of poop.
He has to think about metaphysics because of the Muslim metaphysician.
Jake, Christians came up to me after the debate and said, I won. Also Christians. We said, thanks for coming, Jake. God bless. Jake, you see? Yeah, he said on X that Christians came up and said he won. I didn't talk to one Christian that said that. And I don't know who he's talking about. Every Christian I spoke to said that David won, and every Muslim I spoke to said that Jake won, as we would expect. That's how it happens every debate. That's the same thing that happened with John Fontaine. They said the exact same thing that happened. So, yeah, I'd like to know who he's referring to.
The Christians were actually Muslims.
Oh.
They were only made to appear like they're Christians.
Seriously, what happened to David Houston Pop?
What happened to that, man?
What happened?
Weird.
No pop.
What kind of gangster says, hey, Houston Pop, and then nothing actually happens?
Yeah, nothing.
Someone who rubs Club Pyro. Dan McClellan claims Christians cherry pick Mosaic Law and the splits came later. Best response. Yeah, check out my video, The Misunderstood Mosaic Law. Also check out a book by John Walton, The Lost World of the Torah. That should help you. Was super dope seeing my childhood heroes in person, except Than. Also, prayers, my submission for a regional ETS, EPS, CFP will go through. It's great seeing you as well. Thank you for coming. MASD, your screen name's initial. You see proof? What? Oh, our initials. Okay. Whatever. The Cigar Cartel was sent to protect mi hermano. This is true. We had the Cigar Cartel all over that place. They couldn't get through. Mr. David Wood, sir, I'd be happy to sign up for a dead man switch if anything happens to you. I'll upload a video of me burning a bacon grease dip book. Very powerful. Yep. YouTube filter wouldn't let me say Quran. It's pretty lame.
You just said it though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it was in a video.
Maybe it was combined with the other stuff.
AP, my wife said she wanted to shake your hand, but she chickened out for some reason. Also, you look a lot like our son.
Oh,
your parents were there?
Yeah, poor kid.
Yes, apparently. Well, it's an honor to me, nevertheless, and I would love to redo that if needed at any time.
Also, all three of you did great. Even the notorious Mike Jones. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, my debate opponent was woefully unprepared. Woefully. Man,
and the funny thing is, I saw him before your debate. He had just arrived, apparently from Qatar on a flight or something, and I had no idea it was him. I was talking to somebody else. I saw him. He came over to me with a big smile. I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And I was like, "Oh, hey, wait, it's you, Hassan Shibli?" Yeah. He said, "Yes, yes, yes." And so we talked a little bit. He apparently has no clue at all about the online scene, the dawah and the apologetics and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were talking a little bit, and I told him, "Hey, you have a very tough opponent, by the way. Good luck." And he said, "Oh yeah, really? I don't know anything about him." Then later, after the debate was over, I saw him again, and he said to me, "Hey, you were right about having a tough opponent." I said, "I told you."
Yeah,
He seemed. I'm not. Go ahead, David.
Oh yeah, he was super friendly. He was super friendly towards me before the debate, before your debate, after your debate was super cool. Until he saw me in the Quran onesie, and then he flipped out.
Really?
Did somebody explain to him the context for that?
We tried. Eric Hernandez tried. He wouldn't listen.
Yeah, and then he started doing what they do. I would never disrespect someone else's religious symbols and stuff like that. And I go, "Oh, why'd your prophet smash the idols of the polytheists when he conquered?" And he goes, "But what about Abraham? Abraham did it too." He's talking about Abraham in the Quran.
Yeah.
And I go, "Okay, so is it wrong? Is it wrong? How's that respectful?" And I mean, anyway, he didn't have much of a response.
I'm not going to review much of my debate with him. It'll speak for itself because, like, he was woefully unprepared. I did want to it did just devolve into the Islamic dilemma, though. Like, we were supposed to be debating, is Jesus a Muslim? And he just didn't. It was something. I don't know.
It was weird. It was like Dawa from 25, 30 years ago. That's all been destroyed since then. So they've changed a lot of things. And it was like he teleported to this debate from 25 years ago and used arguments from 25 years ago.
Yeah. On what
Was he trying to use ChatGPT in the middle of the debate?
Yo, I was wondering. I couldn't see his phone, but it looked like he was trying to do something. I couldn't really tell though. So yeah, maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was just Googling. He was definitely Googling stuff. I will say that. I'm going on what the earliest sources, the biographies of Jesus, say. You're saying they're corrupted because some guy, a literate guy who claimed to be a prophet 600 years later said so. I need actual evidence. The funny thing is, like, you couldn't even help yourself but use our Bible to argue your point.
Well, I think
that's the irony.
I think
of this
that
whole
just
debate.
to open your eyes that the fact that your theology isn't absolutely clearly founded even on your own text.
Even if that is true, these texts clearly contradict Islam, what Jesus said and taught in them.
Of course, listen.
Then you can't use them to argue Jesus is a Muslim.
The modern biblical theology absolutely contradicts the absolute pure message of Tawheed or believing in the oneness of God that we Muslims believe in. But that's our point. Our point is that the books that are given today, for us, we believe Jesus had the Injil, right? The gospel of Jesus. This was a book that he had, that he taught his followers and his disciples.
Okay.
You don't have that anymore.
How do you know? How do you know? Wait.
Where is that?
Hey guys, I got a
Jesus
question.
had a book. Yeah.
What's the Injil?
That's what I just asked you.
Yeah.
I said you don't
What's
have
the
it.
Injil?
The book that Jesus taught his followers.
Okay, so which book is that?
You don't have it. It's
How do you know
lost.
I don't have it?
Do you have it?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Do I have
well,
it?
tell me if you have it.
I do. It's called the Gospel of John. There. Okay, that's the Injil. Prove me wrong.
The Gospel of John is not.
How do you know? Ibn Ishaq said it was in the Life of Muhammad.
Not at all.
Yes, he
Not
did.
at all.
Pages
Not at all.
102. He
The
said
gospel
the. Yep.
Dude,
the page number.
This is actually pretty awesome, man. I mean, you just asked him a simple question, which is a question that anybody would normally ask if they allowed for proper discussions on this, and he was completely dumbfounded by it.
And think about it. That's why I said it's like 25 years ago. Like they were saying that 25 years, you don't even have it. I mean, they were still saying this like 10 and 15 years ago and stuff, but more recently, they understand more of the issue. You don't have it. You don't have it. You don't have it. You don't have it. Okay. Then it's a problem for you because Allah says we have it. Muhammad says we have it. They order us to judge by it. And if you want to say, oh, but that was only in 7th century Arabia. Okay, what would that mean? It would mean that the Injil lasted from the 1st century to the 2nd century to the 3rd century to the 4th century to the 5th century to the 6th century into the 7th century and had worked its way all the way down into Arabia. Where's that book? If it's something other than what we have, where is that? Show us that. There should be some record of it. There should be some mention of it. There should be some quotation from it. The idea that Christians, for all those centuries, had a book that was that Jesus handed to them. Here's the book that I brought from Allah. Here it is. And you don't have one mention of it, one quotation from it, nothing like that, is beyond idiotic. And that's
absolutely.
basically John Fontaine's position on that.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
But notice it's, you don't have it. We don't have what? Something that's never existed that your God says we have? That's a problem. How do you not realize that's a problem for you, not for us?
There was a book. I have no idea what it looks like. I have no idea what it says.
All I know is it was Islamic.
You didn't have it. You don't have it. Why don't you have it, you loser?
Yeah, it's like the Quran says we have it. It tells us to judge by it. So the Quran is telling us to judge by something that Allah is going to allow to be lost to history. What an ignorant deity. Like, this doesn't make any sense as a religion. But
doesn't it also say that Muhammad was prophesied in it?
Yes. Yeah, that's
but we don't have it anymore.
Well, that's the reply to John Fontaine's position. You're telling me Muslims in Medina had a lost Injil and Torah that predicted Muhammad, and they didn't care to preserve these works?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that? Like, and no shred of evidence these things ever existed. Like,
yeah, that came up during the cross-examination in my debate with Jake when I was asking if Allah, if he willed the preservation of the Torah and the gospel, and Jake said no. And then he eventually said that Allah willed that they be corrupted. So that was interesting, but that leads to an Islamic dilemma, because the Quran's main argument for why Jews and Christians should believe in the Quran and Muhammad is that they confirm our scriptures. Muhammad and the Quran affirm our scriptures. Therefore, we should believe in Muhammad and the Quran. And so supposedly we're supposed to read the Quran and then go, wow, this lines up with the Torah and the gospel. This is a miracle. Let's believe in Muhammad. That's what's supposed to happen. But he doesn't line up with it. He contradicts it on basic doctrines. And so we say, hey, it doesn't line up. And they say, oh, your book's been corrupted. But I mean, think, if Allah willed the corruption of the gospel and then presents the gospel as his main reason why Christians should accept Muhammad, after he willed that it was corrupted and therefore that it doesn't match, and then the Muslim response is, well, yeah, you have to go to the Quran and then find all the parts that agree with the Bible and then throw out the rest of the Bible that doesn't agree with the Quran. And then you'll see that what's left lines up with the Quran. Okay, that's circular. So what you're saying is Allah willed that his argument be circular instead of actually you being able to see that they match up. He decided he wanted it to be corrupted so that the argument would suck. And then he gave a circular argument as his main argument for why Jews and Christians should accept Islam. Yeah, Allah wanted to be circular because he's one, you see, he wanted to be a circle.
Yeah, the response by these guys to the Islamic dilemma, like for people like Jake and Dean response, is purely circular. There's no way around it.
I actually had a moment like that during my debate with Jake during the cross examination.
Yeah.
When I asked him about specifically what exactly the earliest Christians believed, and I don't exactly remember what my question was about at that time, but I pointed out that he actually doesn't have any evidence that the earliest Christians did not agree with Paul and that they had completely different beliefs. He couldn't give me the evidence, so I said to him that he rejects all evidence which clearly shows that the earliest Christians did fully agree with Paul, and bases his entire claim that the earliest Christians did not agree with Paul on a book that came 600 years later, which is the Quran. And he said initially, no, that's not what I'm doing at all. Okay, what do you base it on? He said, well, it's Allah's revelation.
There was a point where he actually pulled a Dillahunty move on you, AP, in the middle of the debate.
Which one?
Because you were talking about miracles. And then he goes, oh, so we're going to believe that Jesus like rose from the dead. Why? Because some people said it.
I don't even remember.
He said, I'm not even kidding. This dude said that to you in the debate. And I lost my marbles.
Here's the section with David where you were talking about that stuff.
Or other revelations. So with respect to his revealed scriptures sent down, you would say his will is divided. He has willed to preserve the Quran, but not the other scriptures?
Correct.
Okay. So why would you?
Yeah. So yeah, Allah willed that our scriptures be corrupted. He wanted to create false religions to deceive people. It's part of his plan. Great religion.
Believe that he would will the preservation of the Quran and not the other scriptures that the Quran says it's confirming?
Because the Quran is the final revelation for mankind, and it's applicable to all of mankind, whereas the previous revelations were not. They were for specific groups of people, for specific times, and that was part of God's plan. He always had it in that manner. Now, when the final revelation comes along, and it's for all of mankind and all time going forward, he chooses to preserve that according to his plan.
And yet in the, see how you would, let me see what you think about this. In the final revelation, he gives as one of the reasons Jews and Christians should believe in that revelation, that it's confirming ours. Wouldn't it have been good to preserve our scriptures so that they would actually line up, instead of allowing ours to be corrupted so that they don't line up and then the argument doesn't work at all?
Well, I don't really understand how this relates to the Islamic dilemma specifically. I mean, it's not really directly on the point, but I'll answer it anyway. God chose, we believe that God chose not to preserve those scriptures. Now, we believe that he preserved enough of them in order for the Jews and Christians, or previous peoples who followed previous books and laws that he sent down. He preserved enough to be able to point towards the truth of the Quran.
So the previous scriptures, the Torah and the gospel and whatever else Allah has revealed, they kind of they have like an expiration date, like milk, right?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, you said they're just revealed for a certain place, for a certain group at a certain time, and that they're,
yeah, that's what his plan was. That for specific groups of people, he revealed certain laws. You even agreed with that when you were citing Quran 548. I don't agree with your interpretation of that, but yes, he revealed certain revelations and laws for certain groups of people that was context dependent.
Now, since these,
by the way,
since these revelations,
side note, it is interesting there because we did end up talking about the parallels with abrogation and so on. Notice, I mean, if Allah hadn't chosen, according to Jake, to if he hadn't willed the corruption of these previous scriptures, because Jake is saying, it's because he didn't want you using the scriptures, he wanted you using the one book that is for everyone. Well, imagine if the previous scriptures hadn't been corrupted, and that there was some amazing. It's a weird thing saying, "Hey, I affirm your book, therefore you should affirm me." No Muslim would accept that as an argument. If I said, "Hey, I affirm the Quran, I believe that I'm a prophet," no one would accept that. So it's already a stupid argument. If you wanted it to be some sort of interesting argument, then it would be, hey, Muhammad was in the middle of nowhere and he had no access to anything and no one could tell him anything. And he came out with revelations and bang, they line up with the Torah and the gospel. That would be something. That would be something. It's not that position. What's that would be something, right? But it wasn't that situation. Instead, he wills them to be corrupted, and then he makes that his main argument. But think about this. Jake's saying, because he didn't want those previous scriptures being followed, he wanted his most recent, he wanted the final revelation. Well, notice you could have given some awesome argument like, hey, Muhammad is out in the middle of nowhere and his revelations lined up, and therefore you should know that he's a prophet. But what he's telling you is that those previous scriptures, they've been abrogated now, and therefore you have to follow the most recent revelation, the final revelation. And so you don't follow that anymore. Because it's like, think about, there are abrogated verses in the Quran. There are verses in the Quran that supposedly don't apply anymore. You're not supposed to follow them. Like, you're allowed to drink. You're allowed to drink in the Quran as long as you sober up before you come to prayer. A later verse said you can't drink at all. So Muslims say, okay, the verse saying it's okay to drink, that's been abrogated. You don't follow that. So Allah doesn't have to allow abrogated teachings to be corrupted. You can still contain that. They can still be in the scripture and so on. And you just say, okay, but you don't follow that anymore because something else came later. And so you could have had this make sense. What Allah is trying to do, it could have actually made sense, but instead Allah willed the corruption of the previous scriptures, and then he gives us his main argument for why Jews and Christians should follow it, that the Quran lines up with these previous scriptures that have been corrupted and don't line up with Islam. And it's just, okay, that's That's not just a stupid argument. Now it's stupid and incoherent and circular.
It absolutely is circular. And we pointed this out to Dean Responds in the past, and they just refuse to accept it. If the Quran claims that we should believe in Muhammad because he's confirming our scriptures. So what they say is there's enough in your scriptures to point you to Muhammad. And then you're supposed to believe in the Quran. And once you believe in the Quran, you can then use the Quran as a criterion to know what is good in the prior scriptures and what is false. And then you use those good parts to believe in the Quran. And then once you believe in the Quran, you can use it as a criterion to know the good parts of the prior scriptures. And then once you know those, you can believe in the Quran. And then once you believe in the Quran, you can use it as it's just an endless circle, man. And they just don't get it over and over again.
That's the power of 40 generations of first cousin marriage.
No, it's only Allah makes it look like they don't get it.
It's true.
Then when Allah is saying in the Quran to Jews and Christians, hey, how are you rejecting this guy's revelations when they confirm your revelations? And you said that you don't think that requires the preservation of the previous scriptures, but would you agree that, well, let me put it this way. If Muhammad came along and said, hey, look, I'm just this guy from Arabia, and I'm receiving revelations, and they actually line up. They actually line up with your revelations on all these fundamental doctrines and stories. Isn't that amazing? Then they could look at those and say, wow, that is amazing. This guy came out of nowhere and his revelations line up with ours. But since Allah allowed those revelations to be corrupted, and it requires picking and choosing, well, this part is real, this part is not, wouldn't that make Allah's argument circular? Like we have to assume that it's from Allah and then go to our scriptures, take out all the parts that don't line up, and then we say, wow, it's amazing that what's left over once we take out all the parts that the Quran doesn't line up with. It's amazing that it all lines up after we take out all the parts that don't line up.
What's the question?
Oh, so the question is, so one, by not preserving the previous scriptures so that they don't line up, and thus requiring that we assume that the Quran is the correct word of Allah, then we go to our scriptures and we ignore the conflicts because we just toss those out because he didn't protect those. Then we're having to start by assuming that the Quran is the word of Allah in order to go and take out the parts that disagree with it. And this is supposed to convince us that the Quran is the word of Allah because it lines up with what's left after we take out all the other parts. How would that not be circular?
No, well, you're not merely attempting to be convinced by the previous scriptures matching up with certain parts of the Quran. That's not merely the argument. We believe that the Prophet, I know that you don't believe this, but from our paradigm, we believe that the Prophet performed miracles. We believe that he had true prophecies and many other things.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about what he just said there. To share what he believes, which is why he cannot actually make any argument.
Yeah, he just said, we believe he performed miracles. Okay, what reason do we have to think that he performed miracles? It's his miracle. I mean, the Quran repeatedly denies that he could perform miracles, and the miracles appear suddenly in later sources. And then he says fulfilled prophecies and so on. Okay, that's not the argument that Allah gives. Allah doesn't say, hey, because of these fulfilled prophecies and so on, and because of these miracles, he doesn't say that. It's because of the Quran, and the Quran is confirming our scriptures. That's the reason Allah gives. So when I say, hey, Allah gives this as his argument, that's like the worst argument ever, and it's circular. How is that supposed to be convincing to us? Oh, because of all these other things that you don't believe and that we can't show you, but that we believe as Muslims, but that you wouldn't accept because there's no basis for any of this. You would believe based on that. Wait, we'd believe on, what are you talking about? None of that is the reason that Allah gives us for believing in Muhammad. The reason that Allah actually gives to Jews and Christians is, according to you guys, completely bogus. So why would Allah use a completely bogus argument instead of one of these other reasons that you're providing?
But the other thing is also that whatever you say here in this debate, as a non-Muslim, as a critic of Islam, whatever you say here in this debate, by his logic, by his reasoning, by his approach of how he validates his beliefs or how he validates certain arguments, anything you say will be completely rejected by him, no matter how good it actually is. There is no point, apparently, if what he is saying is how he actually thinks, there is no point to having this debate with him. And no matter what kind of an argument you make, it doesn't matter to him, because what matters to him is that he believes in the truth of Islam, in the truth of Muhammad. So anything that comes from that source, no matter how absurd it is therefore naturally true. And there is no reason for him to actually make any arguments, because there is no reason to refute those arguments, because they won't land anywhere, because he simply presupposes that it is all true, no matter what you argue.
And even if he was right, like there was actually evidence Muhammad performed miracles, that doesn't solve the Islamic dilemma. The Islamic dilemma is still a defeater, because the Quran is confirming scriptures that disagree with them, that contradict them. So it just causes the Islamic religion to reduce to absurdity. So even if there were these other pieces you could use as evidence, that doesn't get you out of the Islamic dilemma. Those are separate issues. You still have to deal with this major issue. It's like if someone came to me and said, I'm going to debunk Christianity with the problem of evil, I couldn't be like, yeah, but Jesus rose from the dead and we have evidence for that, therefore why would you believe in that problem? That doesn't solve the problem of evil. That's a different issue. So you got to have a defeater for that as well as evidence. They don't have a defeater for the Islamic dilemma. And this debate, it was pretty clear that they didn't have that. No, not at all.
Confirmed the veracity of his prophethood. So it's not oh you have to just go to this one specific part of the previous scriptures, and if that doesn't convince you that you're damned to hell or something like that. That's not the point.
No, I mean, if because this is you're talking about what you believe, but the Quran is presenting a case to Jews and Christians.
Yeah.
You Jews and Christians are wrong for rejecting this book. And we say, okay, why should we believe in this book? And the response is, it confirms your book. And we look and we say, well, there's a bunch of things it disagrees on, like really important stuff. And you're saying, oh, but you're supposed to, those have all been corrupted. Wouldn't that require us to assume from the beginning that your book is the word of Allah, and that therefore we take out the parts that don't line up?
No, because there, as I was just presenting, there are independent reasons from the parts that line up or don't line up, and what you just mentioned. There are independent reasons that the Quran gives, not only for Jews and Christians, but for anyone.
He doesn't get the issue. He's just avoiding the Islamic dilemma.
What are the independent reasons, specifically that the Jews and Christians at the time of Muhammad would have had access to?
They would have seen the moon splitting. There you go. That's the reason. That's all Jake is saying. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even dealing with the circularity of their solution.
We had liberal scholarship at the time of Muhammad. That's why.
Jake making Muslims dislike him and Christians like David defend him in a crazy year of dawah. Yep, it's just the beginning, folks. It's just the beginning.
Man.
D-Wood, where does one purchase such an exquisite fit? We told you, L. What did you all do in between debates? Texas barbecue, karaoke, mechanical bull riding, bowling, target shooting, watching live sports. Y'all have fun? Yeah, we did all of that. All of that. Yes. Nina says, it was nice meeting all three of you at the debate. The guy who was with Jake looked like he was flying higher than Muhammad on his night journey.
Yes.
Yes, very true. Not sure who that was. Next year, don't say Happy Zoot Day. Instead, say Gezoot Day. It will be more appropriate. I'm supposed to be doing an assignment on DEI right now. Well, that sounds gay as in itself. It looks like Tigger taking on Piglet. That's true. The speaking Muslim is a weirdo. He pretended to be all cool with Avery, but then snaked him. He also threatened to fight Nick of Fearless Truth one time. That's weird. Yeah, online they get kind of like that, but they were trying to be super nice to us there. I don't get it. Hey, David, just finished watching your debate with Jake. My head hurts, and hello to everyone else. I can't even think of saying anything besides authoritative. Yeah, that was Jake's main argument was kind of weird. He was trying to say that Surah 929 imposes the jizya on Christians, therefore it claims to be an authority on the prior scriptures, which is not at all what the verse is saying. So his argument
isn't that a directive to Muslims?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Not Christians.
Well, he's saying that since we're being forced to pay the jizya, which isn't part of our book, therefore the Quran is imposing itself on us. When if you actually, like I said, read the passage, it's because Jews and Christians call Ezra and Jesus, the Son of God. And it says, by doing this, we're trying to put out the light of Allah with our mouths, with our speech. And therefore, in order to silence us, we have to be subjugated and pay tribute money, acknowledging that that we are inferior because we're misinterpreting things and we're getting everything wrong. And so that was somehow, he called that like the Dhimmi dilemma or something like that.
Very weird argument, didn't it?
Are you impressed by that, Dan?
No,
me neither.
Yeah, every Christian I talked to after the debate just said like that doesn't solve the issue. This was.
I know this is sort of a straw man, but it just sounds like he's saying, "Well, the Quran contradicts itself, so the Islamic dilemma doesn't run."
Right.
It's a straw man. I get it, but it's kind of how it feels.
Malik ran his mouth on Big John Steele episode show. Yeah, I saw that. He cowered like a little puppy. Like he was like, John started, hey, are you the guy doxing?
Dude, he lied so much. He said I was there when David apparently doxed him. I don't even know what he's talking about.
John called him out. Are you the guy doxing people? And his response is, no, I didn't dox anyone. I'm the victim here. Don't be mean to me.
Yeah, his definition of me doxing him. Keep in mind, I've never told anyone where to find him or anything else like that. Even though people sent me all that stuff, I never shared any of that stuff. People are like, here's where he lives, here's his family, here's what his family's done. Apparently, it's like a whole family.
Yeah, people sent me that stuff too.
Yeah, apparently it's a whole family of scam artists. But when this stuff was starting and he's running his mouth about being a rapper, someone says when we were going live, hey, his rap name is Dr. Malik. So I searched on Google, Dr. Malik, during a live search on Google. And one of the things that pops up on the first page is that he was scamming people and paying them to pretend to be his fans and stuff. So I read
an article.
I read a couple of paragraphs of that, and he said that's me doxing him. That's not the definition of doxing. Doxing is with an intent to get people harassed and things like that where they are, and which is exactly what he did by giving out people's phone numbers and home addresses and things like that. So yeah, he's a lying little scumbag.
Yeah.
Hey, someone should message Big John Steele and say, hey, we'll go on there and we'll send Big John Steele the unedited versions, because the versions we go through and during live streams have
I'll shoot him a text if you want.
Yeah, have stuff blurred out. But we can send him the unedited version so he can confirm, oh, that is some serious doxing right there. And we can bring everyone up to date on it and expose Malik's little lies.
Yeah. He said he'd go on a live with you at some point. So with you and Thaddeus, he could go on and talk about that conversation. The Quran is a muhaymin over those who wear it. Oh, this is true. That's a good point. That definitely is a guardian. Yep. Malik laughed that Logic got a citation, yet doesn't seem aware that doxing with intent of harassment is punishable by 1 year in jail per count in California. Yep, he has broken the law out there. We are fully aware, trust me, and things are happening. Ran the debate transcript through ChatGPT and asked if it can be a neutral judge. You won on substance. Jake forced wording, but conceded some real authority in the Torah without limits, so the dilemma stood. All right, well, good to know. Good to know. When I saw the video of Malik versus David, I sincerely thought Malik was a homeless person tweaking with how he was yapping. It's good assessment, I have to say. It's Isaiah 17 and Ezekiel 26 failed prophecies. No, read Jeremiah 18. Prophecies are conditional. God can update them based on how people respond. So you got to read them in that context. Also, check out the video I did. Was Jesus a failed apocalyptic prophet? I'll give you more sources in that video. Than, debate me on why non sequiturs apply to inductive arguments, and you're wrong. I don't even study philosophy, bro. The Google AI search told me so. Very powerful.
Do you know the context of that, Mike?
No idea.
So we responded to Dean Responds last week, and then Dean Responds responded to us again.
Oh, God.
And in Dean's version of a response to me was skipping the whole entire presentation I gave and all the arguments I gave. He said, and I quote, "We don't have to cover this." And then decided to throw a hissy fit because I said non sequiturs don't apply formally to deductive arguments, which the definition of a non sequitur in formal logic is an error in deductive reasoning.
Yep, we're dealing with philosophical geniuses, folks. That's Dalit these days. Malik was apparently attacking Dean and Liviano on his live today, saying he's going to go after them, saying that apparently Dean has been having his own donors get him notes for videos, which is kind of strange. And some of them were upset about that. So apparently Malik is turning on Dean and Liviano now. At what point does being intentionally inflammatory become counterproductive? When you deal with dawa, pretty often.
Yeah. And this, but you're being intentionally inflammatory over what? Over these guys deciding that they're going after people's wives and so on. I have to say, because this keeps coming up, guys, this is the exact same mentality that's in people's minds when, these guys are, grooming and raping and gang rape and all this stuff, but tons of like 12-year-old British girls. We don't want to like call out Islam for all this stuff and expose Islam for all this stuff and go after the community that's produced. We don't want to do that because it's really going to inflame things. It's going to lead to community tension. That's exactly what it's going to lead to, community tension and so on. So you just let this stuff go on. No, you stop it. You stop it every single freaking time.
Yep.
And this sort of your good intention, but if we really go after it and expose it, it will hurt their feelings and they won't want to talk to us and stuff like that. There are people who use your good intentions for getting along with people to do really evil stuff, and you can't let people use your good intentions like that. You have to stop awful, terrible, evil behavior. And guess what? If you let them get away with this stuff and think, now they'll respect me more. No, they will have absolute contempt for you. They will say, these guys don't even protect their wives. They don't even protect their families. Yeah. What a bunch of weaklings. They'll praise you and say, see, these are the good ones. These are the ones who will really listen to you. They will never, ever take you seriously again if you let them get away with stuff. Whereas if you put them in their place and make them stop, they'll throw tantrums, they'll scream and whine, but they will respect you.
And that's what we need. I like the theologically authentic of the light and guidance as 544 states. Get rid of the authority talk because either way, there's a directive.
Oh, don't give away too much there, Lamb. Lamb knows about my my argument I've been cooking up.
Yeah, we're gonna make we're gonna take things like the Islamic dilemma up another level in terms of what we're getting ready to put out. So Than's working on some good stuff, guys. I promise you that. I was there. No one thought Jake won. Yeah, I don't know who he was talking to. I don't know of any. I can't know of any Christian that says that.
Allah made him think there was a Christian who said he won.
This is true. We made you corrupt the Islamic dilemma slightly. You see, haha. I was worried Giant Doc took Malik's money when they streamed in your house. Oh yes, probably. My favorite part of the conference was Buddha was a Muslim. Oh my goodness, yeah. So I'm debating Hassan, and like. I'm trying to try to explain to him why it's so stupid to say Jesus was a Muslim. And I'm like, listen, Buddha means the enlightened one. And you believe Allah enlightened Muhammad. Okay. Therefore, you could call yourself a Buddhist because you follow the enlightened one. And his response to that was like, we actually believe that Buddha may have been a Muslim. And I was like,
wait, what?
Do? Yeah, he said that.
Hassan Shibli said, what kind of Muslim is he?
The best kind, apparently. Yeah, he said Buddha was a Muslim. We think he was a Muslim.
Sunni Muslims do not believe that the Buddha was possibly a Muslim, but I know that some Muslims like Ahmadis and some little sects have such beliefs. But Sunni Muslims shouldn't be saying that.
I tried looking for it in the debate. I can't remember where it was, and in the script isn't up because it's still private. It should be up tomorrow, so you guys can check that out. I'm going to upload it to my channel as well. But yeah, he said Buddha was a Muslim. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
That is very weird.
Yeah. And the entire audience just laughed.
Top 10 anime crossovers.
I, as a half Jewish person, have the authority to declare David won. This is true. Yep. There you have it. Used to believe Jay Smith, no Muhammad stuff until I saw David Wood's interview. Wondering where you guys stand on Mecca not existing until after Muhammad died.
We generally think that this is not a solid argument, don't we?
I actually heard an interesting. It's remember that guy that really hates me on the Islamic dilemma.
That really narrows it down.
I need to be clear. Okay, let me be clear. He's like a Christian pastor, and he started doing an Islamic dilemma argument based on the Torah.
Yeah,
and so but he has a couple of guys that roll with him. Anyway, I was talking to those guys, and it was one of them had a theory. It's in the Muslim sources about Muhammad's grandfather rediscovering the Zamzam well, right? So it had been covered up over time, but then he rediscovers it, and now they've got a good water supply and so on. So he says maybe that is some sort of accurate memory, but he says the guy was saying he thinks that the Kaaba was just like a site that you go to and you do a little worship, and that the Kaaba was there. The Kaaba was there, but there's not a city there. There's not a city or a town there called Mecca. It's just the Kaaba is a place you go out, you bring your supplies, you go out there, you worship there and stuff, and you leave and so on. But that a little bit before the time of Muhammad, someone actually, possibly even like Muhammad's grandfather, something like that, discovers a well. A guy discovers a well there, and then that allowed something to pop up. So that's always possible, that something like that. So there is a Mecca by the time Muhammad gets there, because a couple generations earlier, someone discovers water, and this allows people to start settling in the area. That's possible. It's also possible that it's kind of like a not very significant little town that didn't end up on maps. It is an issue when Jay puts up the maps. He's basically just putting up Ptolemy's map over and over again. It doesn't appear on this map. It doesn't appear on this map. It doesn't appear. Yeah, those are all copies of Ptolemy's map. So it's a map Ptolemy's not aware of this place. So anyway, but there's not a ton of stuff to go on. I don't think there's a ton of stuff to say it didn't exist. I don't think there's a ton of stuff to say that it definitely existed for a long time before Muhammad.
Yeah, I highly doubt it existed. Like in BC times, it probably started as a small settlement, getting closer to the time of Muhammad, if anything. We have no evidence that this existed before really the rise of Islam. Watching David debate with Jake. Oh, thank you for the generous super chat. He says, I don't think Jake understands what the Torah and the gospel are, nor does he understand the Islamic dilemma. He seems to be under the impression that the Torah, gospel, and Quran are all legal documents. Yeah, that was his whole thing. He's like, but you can update legal laws. And so we're like, yeah, that's fine. That's not the Islamic dilemma. It's that your book contradicts us on doctrines, theology, history, even. And like, if it was just you updating legal requirements, we'd be okay with that. But that's not the issue with the Islamic dilemma.
When you say that that Jake seems to not understand this and not understand that, I'm kind of having a realization since I had the debate with Jake. I mean, despite him being very nasty online and all that, I often thought that he's quite logical, quite intelligent, quite aware of philosophical depth and all that. I am a little bit confused because I deliberately wanted to not argue the depths of the Trinity, the details of the Trinity, the metaphysics and all that. I made that very clear in my debate. But I did it on a very minimal basis, just to point out one thing, which is that when he argues that there is a logical incoherence or contradiction in describing God as one, but also as all three persons as God, that would mean three gods, that the logical contradiction is actually not a contradiction because you are confusing categories. You can say that, in those three categories, he is one, while in that category he's three. He seemed to not understand it at all or ignored it and interpreted my response as simply dismissing his logical argument and just hand waving. And then he later on kept bringing up Gregory of Nyssa, Saint Gregory of Nyssa, and said that Saint Gregory of Nyssa even admitted in one of his writings that that in order for the Trinity to make sense, you would also have to argue that three persons, Peter, James, and John, are three separate people, but are actually only one person in nature, or actually only one being in nature. And I was wondering what the hell he's talking about. It didn't make sense to me because Gregory of Nyssa is a very serious theologian in the church, in the early church. So I sat down earlier as we are going through this and looked up what he was referring to because I really had no clue. But I thought if Gregory of Nyssa said something like that, I can't argue with it. All I can say is that that I don't know what he said, but here is my view. So I looked it up. I looked up what Saint Gregory of Nyssa actually said, and it's very incredible. The text is called "On Not Three Gods." On in quotation marks, not three gods. He's actually arguing against somebody else who makes the suggestion that Peter, James, and John, being in one human nature, are called three men, but we could also simply refer to them as one man. And he then argues against it and actually points out that, even as I did during the debate, that these men are three men, but they have one human nature, and although this is not comparable to the Trinity, there is a great distinction to make here, which is that there are three separate individuals, but there is only one nature, and these are different categories. So he's actually not engaging in any heresy or anything absurd at all.
Which letter was this?
He's simply pointing out that there are category differences. It is called "On Not Three Gods."
On Not Three Gods, the letter to I can't say the name, Oblibinius or something like that.
Actually, he's pointing out the category difference very early as a church father. He's correctly representing the Trinity, and he is arguing for the basic coherence and the absence of something illogical in the Trinity. But Jake apparently reads through this letter and does not understand the category difference explanation. And he thinks that Gregory of Nyssa actually argued that three people, because there is only one human nature, are necessarily one and the same person or one and the same being. So after all of this, what I'm sitting here and thinking is, I don't understand how Jake is doing this. It appears to me as if he doesn't understand what he's arguing when he's discussing the Trinity, which is very surprising to me.
Yeah, I was a little... Well, I mean, his whole cross-examination section with you was not even debating the topic. His goal in the cross-examination section was, can I make AP look dumb? Which
exactly, that's how I felt too, yeah.
Which I heard from just a bunch of Christians after that all the Christians were like, yeah, that turned them off. That made them, they put a bad taste in their mouth. I heard Muslims all happy. So internally for Muslims, it's like, oh, look how good we are, look how strong. But everyone outside of Islam looks at what Jake is doing in his cross-examination and they're turned off. But this is dawah. They're not doing dawah. They're just trying to signal to their own group that we are strong, we are powerful. Look at how we can outsmart them on things. That's all they're doing. This isn't even dawah at this point, because anyone who's not a Muslim is turned off by that.
It's a really kind of annoying dawah tactic that I've realized they do, which is like, they'll just ask you a question, and then when you answer, they're gonna be like, "Oh, don't you know this? This is really obscure niche heresy you just committed." And then you just go, "Cool, thanks for letting me know. I can update my belief."
Right.
That's what I said to him. Thanks for informing me.
Good, cool, good job, bro. Thanks. You made me more of a Christian now. Thank you. Thank you. Freaking idiot.
I thought AP's cross-examination against Jake was really good. On pushing the Islamic dilemma. Jake had a hard time keeping up.
Starting. Okay, so I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. I would like to, if possible, out of courtesy, just have yes or no answers, if possible, of course. Jake, do you believe that the Quran is the final, clear, authoritative revelation from Allah?
Yes.
Does the Quran say that the gospel was revealed by Allah as guidance?
Hold up. He just said authoritative.
Don't you know you just conceded the debate with David Wood?
Yeah, you just said authoritative, and yet there are things in the Quran, abrogated rules that don't apply anymore. So how can it be authoritative? That was his argument.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is funny.
Weird.
And light.
Yes.
Does the Quran say that Christians had the gospel at the time of Muhammad?
It uses the term gospel, but not in the sense of the original uncorrupted revelation.
So yes or no?
Depends what you mean by that.
Does the Quran say that Christians had the gospel at the time of Muhammad?
Yes, but not the complete uncorrupted word of God.
Thank you. It doesn't clarify that. That's your clarification, but okay.
Yeah.
Does the Quran command Christians to judge by...
Yeah, it doesn't actually. Quran doesn't ever say that. Like, this is a problem.
The gospel that they possess.
Yes.
Thank you. Can you cite a single Quran verse which explicitly says that the gospel text was actually corrupted? The text itself.
The text itself, I've cited in the previous. I don't know if you were here or not. Honestly, I don't know whether or not you were in the audience, but I cited Quran 297. I also cited Quran 5.
Whoa, he said 297. He meant 279 because 297 works against him.
Yeah, 297. I quoted 297.
Yeah, Surah 297.
Yeah, that's Jibril.
Yeah.
Oh, I was confused because I had the list of verses that are used in defense in front of me, and I couldn't find 297, and I also didn't want to look it up in the moment, so I was wondering what it was.
Say, O Prophet, whoever is an enemy of Gabriel should know that he revealed this Quran to your hearts by Allah's will, confirming what came before it, a guide and good news for the believers.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a slip up there.
It was a blunder.
He meant
13.
He meant 279.
These are two of the clearest examples. Doesn't specifically use the term the gospel, but in context, it's referring to the people of the book.
Can you quote how
Hey, that's funny.
exactly it says
Hey,
that they
by the way,
corrupted
that's
the-
funny. He says it because it's not in the context at all in 279 that this has anything. It's talking to Jews there. But if you want to say, well, it's people of the book, and so they're all lumped together, great. Then Surah 2, verses 40 to 44, Surah 2, verse 85, Surah 2, verse 89, Surah 2, verse 91, Surah 2, verse 97, Surah 2, verse 101, Surah 2, verse 121, they all apply to the gospel. And what do you do now? So in other words, guys, if 279 also includes the gospel, then 285, which says you have to believe in all of your book and not just parts of it, would also definitely apply to the gospel. That's good to know.
Pretty based. I like it.
The gospel text.
If you want me to pull it up, 1 second.
It's 279. Yeah, he's going to 279. Just the one.
Oh, he was saying one way. Just for reference, 513 just says that it distort the words when they place and forgotten a portion of what they were reminded of.
Yeah, and if that 513 does not show textual corruption, because if they forgot something, it means it's still in there. They just forgot what was in there. Like it's ridiculous.
It never says that they actually corrupted the script.
513. Yeah, 513 to 515 is just ridiculous to interpret that as corruption of the text.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, I don't want to waste your time, but in the verse that I mentioned earlier in Surah Al-Baqarah, it says that woe to those who write the book with their own hand and then claim it's from God. And in the context, it's referring to the people of the book. Islamic scholars,
just Jews, actually,
have understood this in referring to textual corruption of previous scripture.
Islamic scholars.
I mean, like, it doesn't actually say that. It just says, woe to those who write the book with their own hands and say this is from Allah. That's just referring to writing another book and saying this is from Allah. It's not referring to corrupting the Torah.
Yeah, and I pointed out when he brought this up in our debate, I pointed out that you have a bunch of different interpretations. This is writing something in addition to it, like a commentary, but then treating that as the word of Allah. I pointed out that there are Muslim commentators who said even Muslims do this. Even Muslims do this when they write some book in addition, and then they start treating that like it's the word of Allah. Muslims have said that Muslims do this. They treat other things as if it's the word of Allah. They're writing books and so on. So that notice his interpretation, that would mean that the Quran has been corrupted, because if it's talking about another book and you say, oh, therefore the original book's been corrupted. Okay, great. The Quran's been corrupted. But I mean, look at Tabari. He says this was people writing something in addition to the Torah and then claiming that it's the word of Allah. You have all kinds of interpretations in the Muslim sources. You have some that said this was just about Jews writing blessings for ignorant people and saying that this is from the Torah and selling them. They believe that like blessings can have magical powers and stuff like that. And so they're actually selling them and saying, hey, this is the word of Allah, and it's actually condemning them for selling the stuff. So anyway, you have all kinds of interpretations. The one interpretation that you cannot possibly say is the correct interpretation without meaning that the Quran is just hopelessly incoherent is to say that it's saying the Torah has been corrupted. Why? 6 verses later, Allah says to the Jews, if you don't believe in all of your book and you only believe in parts of it, I'll send you to hell.
Right.
So if Allah says in 279, your book's been corrupted, can't trust your book, and then 6 verses later says, better believe in all your book or I'll send you to hell. Okay, don't tell me anything Allah says, because he's an idiot.
scholars have also understood this as people simply, or the Jews simply writing something down and selling it, or writing texts down and inventing things and claiming that it is from the Bible. Right?
Okay, who said that?
I'm
Well, I
pretty sure,
can't answer
I'm pretty
that
sure you
question,
can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can find it in the tafsirs. So I would say that from the Quran itself, without your interpretation, you can't actually find a single verse that says that the gospel was textually corrupted by the Christians. We only have to read into it. Is that correct?
No, you don't have to read into it. You have to read into the fact that the Injil that existed at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, where it was said that they should judge by this, so on and so forth, that was the original uncorrupted Injil. You have to read into the text. You have to assume that that's the case, which is what you're doing. I don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to read into it. You just have to read into the text.
Isn't that what he said? He said, "Don't. You don't have to read into it. You just have to read into
No,
it."
what he's saying is you don't have to read into it to get this this interpretation that this is referring to them textually corrupting the gospel. You have to read into it in order to come to your conclusion, which is that what the Quran was referring to at the time, what Muhammad, what was in Muhammad's presence, was actually the complete uncorrupted gospel, which is just logically idiotic.
Yeah,
I mean that is what we naturally would assume, unless you can actually demonstrate that it does refer to a corrupted gospel, and that the gospel was actually textually corrupted, that this is in any way reported on or demonstrated.
Yeah, Allah does nothing but praise the gospel. There's not even at least when it comes to 279, you could, as long as you completely ignore the context, if you just look at the verse, you could interpret that in context, is talking about the Jews. You could interpret that as writing something down and changing the Torah. Again, as long as you ignore the rest of what the Quran says. At least there's that. But you have nothing like that when it comes to the gospel. Nothing. All he does is praise the gospel and command Christians to judge by the gospel and say that we have no ground to stand upon unless we stand fast by the gospel. That's what it says about the gospel. And if that's Allah's way of saying, see, your book's been corrupted, don't tell me anything your God says because I'm not interested. If your God can keep saying things that he doesn't really believe and he keeps saying the opposite of what he actually means, he's the worst communicator ever. Yeah, I don't know what to believe. If your God can say, judge by the gospel, you have no ground to stand upon unless you stand fast by the gospel, no one can change Allah's words, things like that. And he really means, hey, your book's been corrupted, just toss it away and go with the Quran. Okay, don't tell me anything he says. I'm not interested. I do not believe that he is capable of communicating clearly.
Well, David, we pointed out this is they constantly do this. They think they just solve one horn of the dilemma, they're out of it, and they just go down the other horn. If the gospel and the Torah were corrupted by the time of Muhammad, then Allah is telling us he's confirming corrupted scriptures. He's telling us to judge by corrupted scriptures. That's the second horn of the Islamic dilemma. That means Islam is false because Allah is incompetent and is telling us to judge by corrupted scriptures. You just can't go down the second horn and think you solved it.
There's even a song about it. It's called "Who Told You to Judge by It."
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's true. Based.
I don't make that assumption. I understand that the term Injil, the term Torah, that these different words can have different meanings depending on the context in which they're used. They don't have a uniform meaning across the text.
Hey, that is a very important admission there, because when we say, hey, Allah tells us to judge by the gospel, and they say, no, the gospel is just a book revealed to Jesus, which you don't have. What did he just say? Oh, the gospel can mean different things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know, because Allah says we have the gospel and he commands us to judge by it.
I told you to judge by it. Okay, so you just already answered yes to the question of whether the Quran commands Christians to judge by the gospel they possess. I asked you if you can cite a single Quran verse that explicitly says that the gospel text was corrupted. You couldn't cite one.
Well, that wasn't the question, but I cited.
That's what I asked.
I cited two verses.
That was literally the question.
You responded to one saying that there's tafsirs that exist saying something else than that. You didn't show anything. Well, maybe you can show it later. And 513 also, if you look at the tafsirs, explains that this is in regard to not merely just corruption in meaning, but also textual corruption. Fakhruddin Arazi mentions this. Other scholars.
Notice what he just did. Notice what he just did. This is very important, and everyone needs to learn to call this every single time. There isn't one word of criticism about the text of the gospel, like nothing, right? You have 279, which is the only verse that even sounds like it's talking about a text, because it says written with their hand. At least there, it sounds like it's talking about a text, right?
Yeah.
And again, nothing to do with the gospel there. Every single other passage they go to, if you're reading it in context, it's about Jews and Christians distorting the message with our mouths, with our speech, right? We're saying things that aren't actually in there. It's about us misrepresenting what's in the books. That's what these passages are about. Can you find Muslim commentators who say, this is about them corrupting the scriptures? Yes, you can. Why is this relevant? Well, if Allah doesn't say something, and he's not saying the gospel's been corrupted in these verses, and you say, oh, but this commentator says it, you see, this is what Allah says. What did you just do? You just said this commentary is the word of Allah. That is exactly what Surah 2, verse 79 condemns Jews for doing. Writing something and saying, this is the word of Allah. What do you do? Oh, yeah, that commentary is the word of Allah. Oopsie. Now you're in trouble, Jake.
What the scholars say. Does the verse say textual corruption of the gospel? Yes or no?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
No, is that a question?
So
I don't care what your interpretation is. I mean, what
It's just so funny. You can read the Quran to them. We've done this in our call-in streams. You can just read what the Quran says, and they will lie to you to your face and go, "Well, it actually says the opposite of what it just said. Therefore, you're wrong." It's like I don't know how many times I feel like I'm the one who has more respect for the Quran than these Muslims do, because I'm telling you what it says, and they're saying, "No, it says the opposite."
You should listen to the.
Why would I care what your interpret? Do you care what my interpretation of the Bible is?
Wow, that was pretty rude, Mike.
It's the corruption of the gospel.
I already responded to this. If you're asked this, it's like when the Muslims come, and I think somebody did this earlier, actually, which I think is a pathetic argument. Tell me where Jesus said in the Gospels.
What's that?
AP was trying to talk this whole time.
Oh, sorry. Were you trying to talk? I thought you said to play.
No. I mean, I'm fine. I'm just pointing out that that you should pay attention now, because now he starts attacking the Muslim position. He starts attacking Muslims who ask the question, "Where does Jesus say, 'I am God, worship me'?"
Was he just attacking Hassan?
He was. This debate happened just after. Hassan did that in my debate with him. He was saying, like, show me where Jesus says, I am God, worship me. And then Jake attacked.
Listen to it. He actually calls it out and points out how stupid this is, but also makes a completely wrong comparison to what I just asked him. Corruption of the gospel?
I already responded to this. If you're asked this, it's like when the Muslims come, and I think somebody did this earlier, actually, which I think is a pathetic argument. Tell me where Jesus said in the Gospels, I am God, or worship me, verbatim. This is
why
ridiculous.
he responded when people called him God. He responded, "You have spoken truth," for example.
My point is, if I ask you for that, where did Jesus say verbatim, "I am God," or worship me? Say, "Oh, Jake, that's silly." No, here's a verse, or here are verses in the Bible which demonstrate that Jesus is God, as Michael Jones tried to do earlier with his proskuneo.
Well, it's completely fallacious.
He didn't like my argument.
That's a terrible response there. So guys, here's the thing. This became a popular thing years ago, which we had to destroy over and over and over again. They would say, "Okay, you Christians, where did Jesus say, 'I am God, worship me'?" And you start showing where he claimed to be God. And they go, no. Where did he say, "I am God, worship me"? Those words. And it has to be that exact. It has to be those exact words. So we had to point out the absurdity of this exact words requirement, that the only way someone can claim something is with these specific words. And so we had to point out, okay, where did Jesus say, "I'm only a prophet, don't worship me"? Those words, can't be anything else, right? So we had to show them how stupid this is. And so here's the thing, that particular thing, demanding specific words, that's stupid. It's not stupid as a Muslim to say, where did Jesus claim to be God? Show me where he claimed to be God. That's not stupid. That's completely relevant. You Christians believe Jesus claimed to be God. Show us where he claimed to be God. He could do that in all kinds of ways, but show us how he did that. AP saying, show me where Allah says, he's not giving some exact words criterion. He's saying, show me where he says the gospel's been corrupted. Jake can't do that. So, it's like you're acting for exact words. No, there's any one, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say one word of criticism about the text of the gospel, Muslims, find me one single word about the, one negative word one even slightly negative word about the text of the gospel. You'll find all kinds of words about Christians being bad, Christians misrepresenting things, Christians distorting things. Find one word, entire Quran, front to end, about the text of the gospel being corrupted. One word. I'll recite the Shahada. Do it, and I'll mean it. Show me one word, entire Quran. Show me one. You can't, because there isn't one. And anyway, and you say, okay, can you show me where the Quran says what you're saying? No, you're demanding exact words. Oh gosh, man.
Before we forget, we got to play the lie that Jake did in his debate with David. I almost forgot about this. This is important. This is an important thing that came up.
Hey, by the way, I caught it as soon as he said it, but I actually was giving him the benefit of the doubt, thinking, okay, I forget all kinds of things too. Maybe he just forgot about this. Maybe he's having memory problems. That happens to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
If Allah says it's okay to call him Father and Jesus the Son, that it would be no. I've heard that. I've heard people refer to. Are those the Fatherites?
You heard what? Sorry.
I've heard people say those things. I didn't know it was like standard. So are those called the Fatherites? I'm not familiar with the term. The people that say that it's okay for God to be a father in previous revelations.
I don't know anything about the term, but yeah, this is.
Well,
he doesn't know anything about the term. Let me just give people the background there. Pointing out how if the Quran says it's confirming the gospel that we have, and we're supposed to look at the gospel and see that it lines up with Islam, what do you do when you go to the gospel and Jesus is declared to be the Son of God all over the place, and he refers to God as my Father and so on? So Father and Son, what do you do with that? And his response was, well, it could have been acceptable before Muhammad came along, could have been acceptable, properly understood to refer to Father and Son. That might have been okay. And so it might not be a contradiction. So only Allah figured out later on that people were misinterpreting the father-son language, and that's why he got really mad about it. And then it became the worst possible sin anyone can commit. And so I was like, hey, aren't those called the Fatherites? And he said, oh, what? I've never heard that before.
Well, he has, and people have been pointing this out.
He's going to say, Jake is my father.
Yeah, he's a Fatherite, so he's gonna.
No.
So yeah, he used that term. And here he's pretending
That's what's
he never
funny.
heard it.
I think I heard that from him. I think I heard Fatherite from him. And so I used the term Fatherite, and what? I don't know that. I don't know. I never heard of that.
I've never heard of that. It wasn't me.
Never heard of that. No.
Wasn't me.
David should have harped on the Ezra thing a lot more. A lot more. I was shook when Jake brought it up in context of correcting the previous books when it's factually incorrect. Yeah, that's another weird thing. It's like he's bringing up Surah 9:29-30 to try to debunk the Islamic dilemma. He's going to one of the places we go to show a blatant error in the Quran. It's like, this is where you're going? Really? You want to really highlight this? IP got David Wood and AP, aka the Crash Out Crew, the Crash Out Boys. Is this a song? I think this is a song that I don't know. Word. Okay. It was great meeting you all. IP's opponent was trying to preach, and IP was mopping the floor with that guy. Thank you very much. Yep, it's great meeting you.
Yeah, that was weird stuff. I never liked that. It was like when Central Dawa started doing that in his debate with me, and he sounds more like you're preaching than debating. And like, who's that meant for?
What was up with that dude like playing that Quran recitation in the middle of the debate? I walked away for a second, and I was in the bathroom, and all of a sudden from my computer speakers, I just hear like,
yeah. In the middle of the open dialogue, Hassan was like, I need to play a video. And I'm like, that's not how open dialogue works. But then he couldn't get the video to work.
Yeah, I was back there with some people. I was like, wait, we can just play videos? Because I would just make an awesome opening statement video and show up and play it.
Yeah. I was like, that's not how this works. What about then Shibley tried Christmas is pagan and you all practically jumped out of your seat? Yeah, you tried that on
funny.
me.
I think you did jump out of your seat, didn't you?
You literally did. You got up. You were ready to fight somebody,
he totally
dude.
Flexed on him. IP jumped up, knocked his phone out of his hand, flexed on him. It was bad, man.
Man.
I was debating Lawrence Krauss knowing that he's in the Epstein files nearly 6,000 times. It's pretty creepy, man. It's pretty creepy to know that, man.
I have to say one thing here, which is This thing is going around today all day long now, or since yesterday. Such person is in the Epstein files so many times. Such person is in the Epstein files, I don't know, 500 times. Such person is mentioned in the Epstein files.
Yeah, you did that with Superman.
I see a lot of Muslims, especially, jumping on that and spreading that. But I see also a lot of non-Muslims doing that as well about other people. And just because somebody is mentioned in the Epstein files or Epstein directory, that doesn't mean that they actually have that they actually committed any crimes, or even that they are in any way questionable or weird. What they just released is a huge library of documents, and that library of documents includes just random cues, random tips that people sent in, random I don't know, texts, random emails that people sent to each other about completely random stuff. I don't know, about football games, about fashion, about anything. So you can search for the word Allah. It is mentioned there. Let me see how many times is Allah mentioned. Allah is mentioned 258 times.
Dude, no. Allah is mentioned 200. Hey, you got to show me that document, because I know you're not going to make any videos when you should be, but I'll make funny little videos like that.
Prophet Muhammad is mentioned 60 times, for example. But here's the thing, you could make the point that, I mean, if you really wanted to take it to the absurd level to show how bad it is to apply this methodology, if you can call it that, you could enter God here and get to 22,000 results, apparently. So just because somebody's mentioned in the files, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have done anything wrong. I wouldn't really argue with that.
Oh yeah. Did you see earlier that Pierce Morgan totally punked out Sneeko?
Oh no,
Really?
what happened?
Yeah, he totally punked him out. So Sneeko posts a picture of Pierce Morgan with Ghislaine Maxwell and says something like, hey, Pierce Morgan, what are you doing on that island? And Pierce Morgan responds, take this down or I'm suing you. And that's because it's been brought up before. And it was, hey, I was at an event one time and I got a picture beside Ghislaine Maxwell, and okay, what's that got to do with me doing anything? But they keep bringing that up as if, you see, you were on the island. So he said, hey, take this down or I'll sue you. And Sneeko took it down because it sounded like Pierce was pretty darn serious. Because keep in mind, he was saying you were right when everyone's losing their minds over the Epstein files and stuff. Hey, Pierce, you were on the island. Okay, there's no evidence of that. And you just made the claim. So that is definitely something he could have sued.
Hey, wait a minute. I just searched for Candace Owens. There are like 10 results.
Oh no, she's in the Epstein files. Well, are they legitimatized search results in there? Have you thought about that? Legitimatized?
Yes.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Make a Quran Man comic with David Wood in his onesie. That reminds me of this image Eric sent over that he took and he turned it into like anime or something of the three of us. You could be Quran Man. Let me see if I can get that up.
Yeah, I searched for apostate, and there are 12 results for apostate.
You see, AP was on Epstein Island.
I searched for David Wood, for example, 0 results.
So. You see, I'm the only innocent person in the entire world, ladies and gentlemen.
Very true. See, if one of the Mike Joneses was in there, there's like 1,000 of us. So, you know,
Mike Jones. Is David Segura mentioned?
David Segura.
I was smart enough to use my real name, David Segura, on all flight records.
Hassan also sounded like Kenneth Copeland when he was preaching at the start.
Yeah, what was that about, man? I turned on the debate and he was just preaching in this very strange tone. He was like talking like a fake evangelical preacher, and it just sounded very strange coming from a Muslim.
He thought he was there to give a sermon, not debate me. I mean, it was really that's what it was about. Where does Ibn Ishaq say that about John's gospel? I think it's like page 102 or 104. I can probably pull it up here really fast because I know where it's at. He does say that the Injil is the Gospel of John.
Gospel of John,
yeah. So here it is, Ibn Ishaq.
Hang on, I just searched the Jeffrey Epstein files for Mike Winger. 0 results.
What? Unlikely.
Yeah, right.
Let me zoom in some more here. Yeah, you can see it's on page 104 here. So here it is, right here in Life of Ibn Ishaq. He says it is extracted from what John the Apostle set down for them when he wrote the gospel. That's the Injil for them from the testament of Jesus, son of Mary. And then he goes on to make the Paraclete argument. So here it is. Yeah, Ibn Ishaq thought that the Injil was the gospel of John. And this is, so technically you have 2. because Ibn Hisham endorsed this as well when he took out all the bad parts of the life of Muhammad and Ibn Ishaq. So yeah, there it is. Page 104.
Powerful.
Mm-hmm. The Muslims gave the books to his 12 Muslim disciples, and they lost it. Don't Muslims shake fists in air? Yep, that sounds about right.
Well, you can't blame them. Allah willed.
It's true.
Them
Allah
to
willed
use
it. Allah
and
willed
then
a perfect
commanding
circle.
Christians to judge by it. Sad.
Very sad. Allah willed a perfect circle, and Kafir, like David, simply couldn't understand it. Name a circle like Allah's circle. You can't. Oh, that's a good point.
It's the best circle argument.
Love a program that writes the unholy book to HDD SSD that I charger to customer and to zero out their banking. Am I having a stroke? What is going on? No idea. Hatun stream yesterday on Hijab had some Muslims claiming David raped Bathsheba and Jesus is the seed of David. Is this in the Quran? David and Jesus are thrown under the bus for their God, Muhammad. Sounds about right. Yeah. Second reminder, IP, a stooping pose causes neck issues. What are you talking about? I'm sitting on a thing that's actually helping my neck and back. It's my chair. It's this, I'm sitting on one of these things.
Powerful.
See? Better. It's better for my back. I had a Muslim in the Discord tell me once that asking for historical evidence for the Injil was appeal to his history fallacy.
I remember
Why are you
this.
appealing to history? You
Oh
can't
my
do that.
gosh.
You can't use history. You guys should write it.
Once you're using history, because then you will leave Islam.
Hey, look at this. I just searched the library for Than. 102,300.
Oh no, you can't just put me on blast like that, dude.
Well,
Vandidiopolis.
You guys should write a collaborative book with the Webbs, the Islamic Dilemma, including Georgia Boltain and West Huss Dilemma.
The West Huff
think,
Dilemma.
Yeah. We'll think about it. Muslims, we don't accept hadith that contradict the Quran. Christians, we don't accept alleged prophets that contradict the Bible. Well said. Jake has to say that it was Allah, that it was Allah's will that they were corrupted or he would leave Islam. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well said. Be sure to subscribe to your brother in Christ as well. Any of you heard about the animated David movie currently in theaters? I have not. And also, so none of you hired security for the event. You didn't call the feds. There was security there. We were fine. Nothing was going to happen. I'm not going to waste money when I know the dorks from California aren't going to come out and do anything.
Yeah, and James hired security, and Houston police sent people there to keep an eye on things. So,
and there were undercover agents in the crowd as well.
I'm not going to watch a movie about David when I can just interact with him in person.
Yeah, why are you going to watch an animated movie about me when you get the real thing?
Yeah.
Hi, Michael. Can I come up on the so-called Islamic Dilemma? I won't take that long. Omar, we're going to be live Thursday, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. Come up then. We'll talk then.
Hey, and Dr. Omar, if you want to, afterwards, if you want to go live and talk to IP and Than about that, you can. Also, send me a message if you want to talk to me afterwards as well, because we'll be happy to discuss that.
On X.
Omar, I'm actually interested in, because it's interesting that different Muslims respond in completely different ways that don't line up. So if anyone has some other explanation or something like that, I am interested in hearing what they are.
So did Jake basically admit that Allah willed it to let his previous prophet's book be corrupted? Yeah, basically.
No, like he willed the corruption. It wasn't just willing to let them, it was willing their corruption. Because I asked him, do you believe that Allah determines our actions and things like that? And he said yes. And then so was it, well, did Allah will the corruption of these books? And he said yes. So at least that's what happened, right? Just make sure I'm not misremembering things, but yep, that's what happened.
How does Jake know the Quran by the same token wasn't willfully corrupted by Allah? Seems like special pleading. Yep, it is. Love what you're all doing. Thank you, Mr. Gabe. If you had $1 for every time you said we believe, you'd fund the ministry indefinitely. Definitely. Yep. I don't know why you're all confused. Jake is perfectly clear, just like his book. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. I do believe that at least one person witnessed Muhammad's moon splitting. Ugh, that's gross, man.
No, 30 people.
It's good. Yeah, fair point. Jake was grasping at straws with his Dhimmi dilemma, like Muhammad grasped for a pillow during the fateful event. Nothing but love and respect for the sacrifice each and every one of you make. You're built different, especially you, Wood. Love the Somali move. Powerful. Thank you. David, you did it. You showed that Tawheed is wrong with Allah's divided will and eternally willing his own attributed corruption. Allah is dead.
Yeah, I would seriously be interested in hearing some other Muslims respond to this, because Jake was kind of surprising me with some of his answers to some of those questions about Allah's attributes and things, and then his attribute being divided and the connection between the heavenly tablet and the books that he revealed here and so on. And I'm wondering if other Muslims who have some other views on Tawheed and so on would have a serious problem with what Jake said there.
I think so. I was going to be at Debatecon, but I couldn't go because of a work thing. Unfortunately, I did not get to meet David Sagata the way I planned. Please come back.
We would have had tacos, man. We would have had some tacos.
We'll never understand how anyone argues that Jesus was anything but Jewish. Yeah, me. Well, he was also the son of God, so there's that. IP Than and Jay and Doc. I'd strongly encourage you guys to seriously engage with Gabriel Reynolds' paper on Quranic doublets and the argument that the Quran reflects Q-like editorial activity by a redactor rather than a single uniform delivery. Yeah, I do want to read that. I absolutely want to read that. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Just haven't had the time. There's some really interesting stuff he's put out. David, remember when Jake said the Injil wasn't the Greek New Testament, but then claimed that the revelations on the heavenly tablet are written in the language they were revealed in? Then why did Allah name it the Injil?
Yep, that is seriously weird stuff. And that's another one where I didn't know how he was going to respond, right? Like I asked him, hey, you know, what is the language of the heavenly tablet? Because you could say it's like it's Allah's like heavenly speech or something like that, but then it gets translated into whatever language and so on. But no, he said they're revealed in the languages it's the speech in the heavenly tablet is in the languages the books were revealed in. And so, yeah, it's called the Injil. It's called the Injil. That's from the Greek Evangelion, which is Greek. So we got a Greek book up there.
From a Jewish perspective, how does the Islamic dilemma deal with the fact that the Dead Sea Scrolls disprove the Jewish scripture corruption theory?
I'm gonna head out, guys. I'm tired.
Fine. Cool, man. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Wait.
Finally.
Well, they don't even deal with this at
Started off
all.
with too much cargo, so we got rid of Benedict Arnold.
Bam. Yeah, they don't even deal with this. They just say that it's either generally confirming, which is a circular argument, or they just say there's some other book that the Quran is talking about. By the way, this isn't just Dawa, guys. I'm reading into Islamic scholarship, and they appeal to Islamic jurisprudence for literally every criticism, circumventing the Quran and putting legal systems above Allah. Do a video. Make a video on it. Dr. Omar is back. He says, stop awful behavior while either silent or associating with a genocidal apologist on this ongoing genocide and starvation in Gaza. Israel's destroyed 90% of houses, nearly all hospitals and universities.
Who?
That's
David. Is David the genocidal apologist?
I think he's talking about AP.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the guy.
No, so I think that's a criticism. We're saying, hey, you Dawa guys, you need to stop the doxing and all this stuff. And he's saying, but why aren't you stopping Israel? That's the guy who wanted to jump in and have a discussion about the Islamic dilemma. Yeah, great. Yeah. Sound very reasonable.
Gregory argues that multiple persons share common nature and that one ought not. Says there are multiple human natures because of the multiplicity of persons. Same with the hypostases of the Trinity. Yep. Yeah, I don't think Jake was really representing him fairly. It's fun hanging out with you. I appreciate David Wood for his ultimate dad shoes and IP and Eric for answering if Jesus knew the hour. Somehow I ended up on the live with Malik. I didn't have that on my bingo card. Wow, interesting. Didn't know that happened.
No, it was seriously messed up when everyone started making fun of my shoes for dad shoes. I got some Nike Airs, but apparently those have become known as that basic pair that I have become known as dad shoes. And then someone even said it. They went, hey, Look, watch what happens when I look up dad shoes. I typed in dad shoes into Google, and a picture of my shoes popped up. That was bad.
Mm-hmm. Dean did a general confirmation of Than's slides. This is true. Yes. Thank you, sir, for gifting so many IP memberships. We really appreciate that. Hi, IP. I was the guy wearing your shirt at Debatecon. Oh, yeah, I remember you. What's up?
Beast.
Cool to meet you, AP and David. AP, I'm the same guy that told you my wife and I came straight from our honeymoon to be there. Yeah, we remember you, man. Thanks for coming. With God's nature, since it is infinite and unfathomable, it is one in single essence, plus the unity of the energies, and the single motion of those energies indicates one divine nature. Well said. Do you guys know any good resources to learn about Tawheed and arguments against it? Are there 99 names of Allah connected to it? Check out what debates by Anthony Rogers.
Anthony Rogers. Go to Anthony.
Yeah,
and look at the sort and in his debates. So just watch his debates. Watch like his debates, Trinity versus Tawheed, and he gives the sources as he's quoting. So you can you know what to look up.
Hey, Eric Hernandez just sent me this, David.
Yeah, he just sent it to me too, and I was about to send it to you so you could post it. Based.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna post
dilemma. Parental advisory.
It's amazing. I love it. Let's see here. I just watched David's debate with Jake, and Jake's whole point was, if I can use force to cohere you into doing something, then the Quran is authority over the Bible. He admitted that was illegal. Props to Jake for being willing to absorb the blows, but I kept waiting for him to make citations to support his arguments. Alas, I will wait. Yes.
Yeah, not in the Zut sense there. Nitzs.
They caved on Aisha and perfect preservation. How do you think they'll cave on the Islamic dilemma? They obviously can't cave completely. This is a good question. They're eventually going to have to cave on this because they're not doing well.
Yeah, with the arguments I'm kind of putting together too on this, I don't know how they're going to get out of it.
Yeah, I've said what I would do if for some reason I ever concluded that Muhammad was a true prophet. I couldn't ignore that the Quran's affirming the previous scriptures, and therefore I said I would be forced to harmonize them. And so on issues like, did Jesus die by crucifixion, I would say, okay, well, Surah 4 verse 157 is it's just one verse. It's one verse in the entire Quran. And Muslims have disagreed about what that verse means based on other things the Quran says. And so I couldn't go with that one. Whereas in the Gospels, it's crystal clear that Jesus died by crucifixion. So I would say, okay, we have to interpret 4:157 in light of the clear verses in the Bible. And therefore, we have to assume that 4:157 is not denying the crucifixion. And on Jesus being the Son of God, I'd have to kind of do what Jake was doing there and say, okay, then the Quran is denying the sonship of Jesus in some sense that doesn't conflict with the Bible here. You'd have to kind of go like that down the list and try to harmonize them as much as possible. But I have to say, they really don't harmonize terribly well. But you'd have to do something like that, because the alternative is Muhammad's just a false prophet. He affirms scriptures that contradict his revelations.
David Wood, challenge accepted. Alan tells them to stand on the book, you see. Oh, yeah, stand on the book.
He's just telling you to stand on it.
I have trouble coming to my own conclusions when viewing arguments, and I get confused. Any advice? Yeah, you got to study more. You got to get your critical thinking skills up. That's nothing we can just tell you. Practice makes perfect. Yep. Just watched all the debates. IP, you just heard brain rot your entire debate. He didn't answer any questions. This is true. You asked for straightforward questions. AP, David Wood did great job as well. Killed it. Thank you. Yeah, my debate was just a blowout for sure. Hassan had not prepared. Nice guy, nicest guy there of the Muslims, but did not.
Yeah, it was weird. Later on in the debate, he started going, "Where did Jesus call God my Father?" And he literally quoted it in his opening. He said he quoted Matthew 26 to show that Jesus bowed and prayed, but he actually read the verse, which the vast majority of Muslims never do. And it says, and he said, "My Father," because he's the Son.
Yeah.
He quoted it as evidence Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's like Dawa from 25 years ago, where we'll quote the Bible when it's totally convenient. The moment you quote the next verse or something to show us where no, you can't quote the Bible. It's been corrupted.
Right.
And then so you held him that. Okay, you're not allowed to quote the Bible either. Show me where Jesus is a Muslim. Well, I believe in the Quran and Jesus is a Muslim.
Epstein was funding atheist conferences and networking with pop atheists, including Krauss. Richard Dawkins was pictured in his private jet. But I get the nuance, AP. Good to keep methodologically pure. No, I have no idea what genocidal empires is. We'll take a look, though. I'll see if I can find it. Dick Cheney wasn't in a single file. Evil for the love of the game. Absolute Chad. Yeah, he just liked to bomb stuff, apparently. Muhammad, not in Epstein files. You see, he's sinless. This is true. Allah's in there, apparently. Apparently, like Epstein got like some weird prayer cloth from Mecca sent to him, and he was working with officials in Turkey to get girls, from what I heard. Like, pretty messed up. Islamic world was supplying him with young
someone
girls.
someone was saying he had one of the shroud, a piece of one of the shrouds over the Kaaba. They have that big black shroud over the Kaaba that they hang over the Kaaba, and someone said he got a piece of that. And interesting, you see,
yeah,
he runs.
Stan appeared 102 times, but imagine how many more if they had misspelled it then. That's true. Maybe Muslims use circular arguments because it was a circle that protected Muhammad's mate on the night of the Al-Zut.
It's a good one.
Probably. Than you was on Gilligan's Island. Bro, got to get on that.
Is that the name of the
stage.
island for Epstein?
No, it's not the name of it. I think they're just referring to it.
What are you talking about?
Oh.
It's Gilligan's Island, man. You don't know Gilligan's Island?
Stupid old show from the 70s.
Hey, Than, do you not actually know Gilligan's Island, man?
I know the name of. No, I don't know what it. I don't know anything about it.
Well, let me tell you about a little
Oh,
ship.
no.
Ship lost out at sea. Sad story. People went out for a 3-hour tour, got hit with a storm, ended up stranded on an island, man.
Well done, IP and David Wood. And AP finally finished watching all the debates. Disappointed that IP's opponent thought it was a sermon time and did not engage with the debate topic. Yep, we all were. Muhammad's time isn't real. Only mountain time for Muhammad on the night of the Al-Zut. Does IP have a curse?
Hey, yeah. How do people in the mountain time zone not constantly say that mountain time? Oh, don't let Muhammad hear you say that.
I've never thought of that until your sick, disgusting mind brought it up. Just to say, okay.
No, that was someone right there. That's Goat Hub music. That would be funny though, man. Look, someone say, "Hey, something in mountain time," and then the zut pop up. Did someone say mountain time?
Mm-hmm. Does IP have a curse to only get debates with people unprepared or shadow boxing with a completely different topic? It seems like I get a lot of those. I don't get it. I don't know.
Hopefully tomorrow won't be like that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm debating Orthodox Muslim tomorrow on if Muhammad is in the Bible. So looking forward to that. Yeah. Y'all don't know how we're getting D Wood versus Cartoon Network for Reed. Oh yeah, when are we getting a David Wood versus Fareed debate? When is that going to happen?
Oh, people keep asking Fareed. In fact, one of the Muslims I was talking to is buddies with Fareed, and I said, "Hey, Fareed can join me live for a discussion." And so he messaged Fareed, and he said, "Yeah." Fareed responded, "Yeah, I don't think my wife would want me talking to a cross-dresser." It's like, wait, what, you guys worship a cross-dresser? That's
the thing.
It's going to be fun. That's and all thanks to Fareed. All thanks to Fareed, I've decided to go through the Muslim sources about Muhammad wearing his wife's clothing this year. That's on you, Fareed. That's on you.
It's on you. Please get Modern Day Debate to come to Atlanta, Georgia. Would love to see y'all come down to the Southeast. Hey, James, get on that. James, if you're listening, get on that. When is Gabriel Reynolds coming on? That's a good idea. We should do that at some point.
That would be good.
Hey, look at this. I found this just on Twitter. The Islamic Center of North Sacramento is upset about this. They said the most damaging aspect of these so-called debates and social media spectacles is that they serve as the main source of income and growth for these filthy Islam haters. They thrive on Muslim attention. Yeah, that's where we get our money from. It's from going to these debates that we don't get paid for.
Yeah, we got fat stacks of air.
If the Ummah collectively ignored them, please, I dare you to do that. I dare you
Triple
to do
dog
that.
dare you. Just ignore us. You know,
Yeah.
guys, do you know what happens when you ignore us? We say, see, they're running from us because they can't refute us. And then everyone goes, oh, the Dawa guys can't answer. Look, guys, you are screwed either way. This is the Dawa dilemma. Do you engage, in which case you get crushed, or do you not engage, in which case you look like cowards? It's that I need to make a little. I should probably post some of these comments and write the Dawa dilemma.
Yeah, it's a good idea. If the Ummah collectively ignored them, refused to engage or share a platform, their mockery, they would fade into obscurity, financial struggle, and irrelevance. Okay, yes, Muslims, please try that.
Do it.
We're going to fade into financial obscurity.
Do it.
Dare you.
Do it. And by the way, once again, notice they're complaining because I was wearing a Quran onesie. Okay. Once again, why was I wearing that? Notice the problem isn't with, hey, maybe we shouldn't be threatening to kill this guy if he shows up to the debate. Because, then he's gonna mock us by showing that he's not scared and wearing a Quran onesie as supposedly body armor so that we won't shoot him.
Do you think the Islamic Center of North Sacramento knows the context of this picture, David?
No, they never care. They never care. That's the thing. Why don't you do the slightest bit of investigating and then condemn the death threats, the doxing, all that stuff that leads to it? Why is it always, always, always condemning the reaction to your terrible behavior? It's with everything else, with the grooming gangs in the UK. It's pretty mild reaction, even when it was all exposed. Oh, yes, we condemn that, but not like outrage. What were they complaining about? That people were pointing out the problem. That was the focus of their hostility. How dare you say this has anything to do with Islam? That's what they were really upset about. And it's like, guys, and the same thing with terrorist attacks. There'll be a big terrorist attack, and it'll be, oh, yeah, we condemn that a terrorist attack. But don't say anything about Islam. Don't say anything about Islam. It's going to lead to a backlash against Muslims and killing Muslims. So don't say anything about Islam. And it's like, guys, you're showing by your priorities how screwed up your religion is. So you're not helping yourselves here.
Yeah, this is damned if they do, damned if they don't. They try to ignore us. That's going to be our benefit. And we're just going to go to the Dawa tables. If they just said, all right, no more debates, we're just going to do Dawa tables, we will come find you. Okay. You're not going to get away from this stuff. We're going to keep attacking this till this false religion goes away.
And so, Islamic Center of North Sacramento, I say to you, in the words of John Bender from the Breakfast Club, sweets, you couldn't ignore me if you tried.
All right. So tomorrow I'm debating on the channel The Gospel Truth with Marlon. I'm debating Liviano, the Orthodox Muslim, on if Muhammad was in the Bible. So tune in for that tomorrow, and that should be pretty good. And
Matt wants me to bring up our IP stream shorts, clips, whatever that channel's called.
I'm glad you're really prepared on this. This is great. I'm so happy.
He texted me about it.
What is the channel called? Yeah, we have a new channel. IP.
Let's see.
IP clips.
IP stream clips.
IP stream clips. Okay, so subscribe to the new channel. Where is this stupid thing? Wherever it is. Freaking can't find it, man. This is stupid.
Matt's really proud of this. Okay, so we need a.
Well, it'd be nice if I have the freaking link.
I'll see if I can find it.
Better luck next time.
Better luck. Okay, so there's a new channel somewhere out there in the ether. Find it, everyone. I'm going to bed.
I found it.
So
here.
Fine. Make it.
I'm putting it in the private chat for you.
Put it in the private chat. Okay, there. It's in the private chat.
There.
So go subscribe to there.
That's
I'm going
the
to bed.
private. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, I'll just put it in the stream chat then.
God, I gotta do everything around here. Got to do everything around here. I'm like, make it full screen, and Than's like, no, I'm just gonna drop it in the private chat. That's gonna be so helpful. Here,
I thought
IP
so that way
stream
you can
clips.
share it.
I will subscribe there.
Oh, I'm not subscribed either.
You suck at this. So, all right. So yeah, we just started this apparently. So subscribe to that, please, everyone. Is it dropped in the live chat?
It is.
Okay, good. All right, then I can leave. Everybody. All right. Good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow for my debate with Libiano, and then we'll be live Thursday for a call-in stream. So come back for that. Peace. You made it to the end of this video, which means this message matters to you. If you want to see more content like this reaching people for Christ, you can help make it happen. Your support makes these videos possible. Click the link below and donate today. And if you want to go even deeper, consider joining our Patreon community. You'll get early access to videos, behind-the-scenes content, and a place to connect with others passionate about this mission.